It's all magic, no tricks. Coming with it.
And all right, guys, let's get right into it. Yo, this is Seth with S.E.T Media, guys, and I'm back with another one for you. All right, guys, we're about to get into Trump taking some questions, and then we're going to get into a media analysis because some very shocking things have happened during the past 24 hours. But all right, guys, let's get right into it, and let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video.
Mr. President, the meeting with Vladimir Putin is canceled or put on hold. Do you know what happened there, and does that affect your decision whether or not to send tomahawks?
No, I don't want to have a wasted meeting. I don't want to have a waste of time. So I'll see what happens. But we did all of these great deals, great peace deals. They're all peace deals, agreements, solid agreements, every one of them. But this one, and I said, go to the line of battle. The battlefield lines, and you pull back and you go home, and everybody takes some time off because you got two countries that are killing each other. Two countries that are losing 5,000 to 7,000 soldiers a week. So we'll see what happens. We haven't made a determination.
I'm asking the Justice Department to look into the federal investigations into you and look for compensation, and how much are you asking for?
Who's asking for what?
Are you asking the Justice Department to pay you compensation for your federal investigations?
Yeah, so Trump is thinking about suing the DOJ, and well, it's been reported that Trump is suing the DOJ for about $230 million, which means he's kind of suing himself in a way. But he says he's going to give it away to a charity or use it to rebuild the White House. So I mean, I guess he's suing the government, to fix the White House. Hey. It is what it is.
Into you, are you asking them to pay compensation, and how much?
Into me? I don't get any compensation. I do it for nothing. I gave up my salary. Into me?
No, it's going to be the Justice Department. Are you asking them to pay you compensation for the federal investigations that happened to you? And how much are you asking
for?
Well,
I guess they probably owe me a lot of money for that. Probably, yeah, that's true. That's very interesting. No, I get no salary. I gave up my salary. It's a good salary. Not as much as these guys make, but that's okay. It's a lot of money. And I don't, as you know, I didn't take it in the first 4 years. I've not taken it in these 4 years either. But as far as all of the litigation and everything that's been involved, yeah, they probably owe me a lot of money. But if I get money from our country, I'll do something nice with it, like give it to charity or give it to the White House while we restore the White House. And we're doing a great job in the White House. As you know, the ballroom is under construction. It's going to be, they've been trying to get it for 150 years, and it's really, I think it's going to be fantastic. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we have numerous cases having to do with the fraud of the election, the 2020 election, and because of everything that we found out, I guess they owe me a lot of money. But I'm not looking for money. I'm looking for really, I think it's got to be handled in a proper way. If it's not handled in a proper way, we don't want it to happen again. We can never let what happened in the 2020 election happen again. We just can't let that happen. And so the way we go, I know Cash is working on it, everybody's working on it, and certainly Tulsi's working on it. We can't let that happen again to our country. Look at what's happened where you have millions of people being allowed to come into our country, all because of a crooked election, where they come from prisons, they come from jails, they come from mental institutions and insane asylums, they're drug dealers. The people that they've allowed to come into our country. We cleaned them out in Washington, D.C. We have a very safe capital right now. We have a capital that's as safe as it can be. But
now it does seem that Trump will not stop until he's vindicated on the 2020 election and that it was stolen. He will not stop. I mean, hey, he even got the DOJ looking into it to sue to give him some money so he can donate, allegedly, then so be it. But it's, hey, I guess it's about time that this gets investigated and if there's actually any proof that the 2020 election was stolen. And of course there is. But all right, let's get back to it.
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to ask the lawyers about that.
Mr. President, what did you hear from that analyst, Mr. President? A comment and a question, please, for you. First of all, you have just 1 billion plus hearts around the globe, including in India, by celebrating the Diwali in the White House right here. And my other comment is, Mr. President,
I like his question already.
in February, you and the White House staff gave a warm welcome to the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi. And after that, I decided to make a short trip to India for you, how popular you are in India. And I went there in a holiest also festival there, millions of people were there, and also Prime Minister Narendra Modi was addressing a media event, 5,000 people. I was one of them there listening to him. And when I went to several states in India, what I found out, Mr. President, 3 people are most popular there. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, President Donald Trump, Mr. Kash Patel, and also with the surprise, our White House press secretary, Caroline Levitt.
He's doing good, right? He is doing good.
And
Superstar.
Mr. President, my question is, you had a great relationship with the people of India when you visited India, and with the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, and also with the Indian American community. Where do we stand today, all those relations from 45 to 47?
I would say this. She has a good, I mean, he's seen good in the eyes of the Indian people, but in Indian media, I mean, they be tearing Trump up every single time. I mean, and you know, they'll give Trump his kudos, but anytime Trump does something against India, I mean, bro, the entire week is just Trump slander. I mean, trust me, India don't play.
In the future, Mr. President, please, thank you.
We stand great, and the people of India, I love the people of India, and we're working on some great deals between our countries. I spoke to Prime Minister Modi today, as I mentioned before, and we just have a very good relationship. And he's not going to buy much oil from Russia. He wants to see that war end as much as I do. He wants to see the war end with Russia, Ukraine. And as you know, they're not going to be buying too much oil. So they've cut it way back, and they're continuing to cut it way back.
Mr. President, what did Hyman say?
Mr. President,
Yeah, please.
an appeals court recently ruled that you can send the National Guard into
Yeah.
Portland, Oregon. Do you feel unfettered to send the National Guard into whatever city you want now?
Well, I guess so. That was the
So yeah, the appeals court ruled in Trump's favor, saying that he can send the National Guard into Oregon just to patrol or just to protect the ICE facility. You know, they're not just going to be going out in the streets cleaning up crime as we would hope they would. But yeah, he's only allowed to bring him in there to help out to protect the ICE facility that protesters are gathering around and blocking ICE trucks from leaving on a daily basis. So hey, National Guard got to come in. And I guess, like I said, this is the perfect, reason why.
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
And to be honest, if you're honestly just standing in front of ICE facilities and all that good stuff, just chanting free the immigrants.
Stop it. Get some help. Stop.
decision that I can send the National Guard if I see problems. I looked at Portland over the weekend. The place is burning down, just burning down. We weren't there. We didn't spend much time there because we were waiting for that decision. But the court, probably maybe that influenced the court. But you look at a place like Portland, it's ridiculous when they say that there's no problem. The place was on fire over the weekend. But we won the case in Court of Appeals. I think it was the Ninth Circuit, so that's pretty good. And a very strong opinion that we have the right to use the National Guard. You would think that would be common sense. We have the right to use the National Guard to put out trouble.
Yep.
Well, that's how I got elected. One of the reasons I got elected. Yes.
Mr. President, what changed your mind after talking to Vladimir Putin between then and now? Why did?
Well, yeah, if they're trying to literally, I will say, stop the enforcement of federal law, then yes, the president has the right to bring in the National Guard to uphold federal law, which is ICE being able to leave their facility and uphold immigration law.
Do you think that a Budapest summit might be wasted time?
Well, I didn't say anything. I didn't say it would, and you never know what's going to happen. But a lot of things are happening on that front, on the war front with Ukraine and Russia, and we'll be notifying you over the next 2 days as to what we're doing.
Did you hear
a lot of things are happening.
Did you hear something from the
I think we're going to get it solved. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, on Ukraine, do you still see a chance for a ceasefire? And what is Putin asking for? Do you still see a chance for a ceasefire? And what is Putin asking for?
I do. It's a vicious look. It's a vicious word.
Well, Putin is asking for Donetsk, or basically the Donbass region. He's asking for full control of the Donbass region, and that is the only way he's going to come to the table for peace. He's saying, if you don't give me that, then we're just going to solve it on the battlefield. And I mean, like I said, it doesn't sound like a man who's losing a war, to be quite honest with you. He has the power to pretty much say, look, you can give me this region and we can come to peace, or we can just continue the war and this man possibly takes all of Ukraine. Because obviously Ukraine cannot win on the battlefield.
It doesn't really affect us. We sell equipment to them. We sell equipment to NATO, and NATO gives it to Ukraine, but we don't pay anything anymore. Biden spent $350 billion. The war would have never happened if I were president. Would have never, not even a million years. And Putin knows that too. Would have never happened. But it did happen, and I came in, and I have to see if I can put it out. But it doesn't affect us because we're not losing soldiers there. Although, when I first came in, that could have ended up, it's not going to happen, but it could have ended up in World War III. That was really out of control.
Look, we may not be losing soldiers, but we are trying to, utilize this rare earth mineral deal that we have with Ukraine. And it's really hard to, I say it's impossible to work this deal in or implicate the deal if there's a war going on. So that's one of the main reasons that we're trying to not only try to let Ukraine keep as much land as possible, which we can utilize the rare earth minerals, but of course, stop the war. Because, I mean, come on now, how's that going to work?
So now it's they're shooting and they're killing people, and I think Putin wants it to end, and I think Zelensky wants it to end, and I think it's going to end.
What is Senator Schumer said he reached out to you about meeting on the government shutdown. Will you meet with him before you leave for Asia on Friday?
Well, I will actually. I'd love to meet with them. I just want them to open up the country first. The country is so hot right now, and they've never voted against continuation. They've never voted against it.
Oh, guys, let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people in the conversation by double tapping that screen. Appreciate the support, guys.
They've never done that. They're doing this because they have Trump derangement syndrome. But I would love to meet. I would like to meet with both of them. But I set one little caveat. I will only meet if they let the country open. Never let the country open. The people want to go back to work. They want to be served. They need the services of some people, and a lot of people need the money, the payroll. So I'll do it as soon as.
So Trump is saying he's only willing to hear Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer out only if these guys open up the government. If not, then I guess the government's going to stay closed. I mean, he's pretty much hardlining his position. He's like, one, I'm not going to go. I already gave you guys the 1-year extension on the Obamacare healthcare subsidies. I'm not going to give you guys 1.5 trillion in Medicaid spending. So it's either you open up the government or this is just going to continue and you guys continue to look bad. And CNN, I'm south to CNN because the polls came out and yeah, Donald Trump is actually looking good for standing up against the Dems. The image is that he's standing up against the Dems for overspending. And I mean, let's be real. You guys are asking for 1.5 trillion in spending.
As they open up the country, I'd like to meet.
So you want to meet on the government Mr. Just to be clear, you won't meet with them until the government's open.
The government has to be open, yeah. The government has to be open. You know how long it would take for them to do that? Just say, okay, government's open, that's it. There is nothing.
How long
They're
do you
not
think this could
negotiating.
go?
What they're doing is saying they lost the negotiation, and when we got the great big beautiful deal done, they lost that negotiation. Now they're saying, well, we want to get some of the things we lost. But the problem is the things they lost are very bad for our country. We don't want to have people come over from all over the world, from prisons and all, and have them have their health care paid for. We want to take care of people that are American citizens and all. So they want $1.5 trillion of money to be wasted and jeopardize the health care of other people. We're not going to do that. So,
and pretty much they want to reverse the Medicaid cuts that Trump put in the big beautiful bill, which was about $900 billion, not yet, $900 billion over the next 10 years. They want to reverse that and then add another $150 billion on top of it, totaling $150 billion added on Medicaid. Well, Medicaid spending over the next 10 years. That is what they want, and that's what, well, Trump is saying hell no to. I mean, he's standing pretty firm on it. So, hey, let's see what the Dems moves. Well, let's see what the Dems' next move is, because they have to open up the government at a certain point. Like, come on now.
I would love to meet with them. We want the country open first.
Mr. President, a new poll shows that if Curtis Sliwa dropped out of the New York mayoral race, then Andrew Cuomo would only trail Mamdani by 4 points. Would you call Curtis Sliwa to drop out of the race so that can happen?
No.
Well, I looked at the polls, and
I wouldn't. I mean, that's not fair. It's like, what? Why he got to drop out? He's the only Republican in there. Like, what? He's the only Republican in there. He lost a primary to Mamdani. He really shouldn't even be there, in my honest opinion. He should just sit down and let like Swoyle or whatever his name is and Mamdani handle it out or thug it out. Like, I have no idea why Cuomo is standing strong on this. I don't get it, because let's be real, the people in New York is kind of telling the man no.
Looks like we're going to have a communist as the mayor of New York. It'll be very interesting. But here's the good news. He's got to go through the White House. Everything goes through the White House. At least this White House it does. And we'll have to see what happens. But if he dropped out, he's not going to win. And not looking too good for Cuomo either. But maybe, I don't know, if he dropped out, maybe Cuomo would have a little bit of a chance, but not much. Because it looks like the lead is, it's not a great lead, but it's big enough that he should be able to win. So, you know, I don't know that I want to get involved. It's really a question of, would I rather have a Democrat or a communist? And I would rather have a Democrat than a communist.
Will you meet with Mamdani if he wins?
Yeah, I'll speak to him.
Yeah, you got no choice.
I have an obligation to speak to him, but I love New York. I've always loved New York. I just can't believe a thing like this is happening. I left it.
Now, look, I ain't no Mamdani supporter, but yeah, it's looking like that man's about to win. I might as well just go ahead and like just throw it in for Mamdani right now, because unless the people of New York have a huge revelation, they vote for like Squealer or something, then they're cooked. They're cooked. I mean, it's over. It's over. The man got $1 billion smile. He's hella charismatic. He's telling them everything they want to hear. Y'all cooked.
New York, and we had a mayor, de Blasio, who was a disaster. But when I left, it was sort of before he could really take hold. And boy, New York was a hot city, and now it's sad to see what's happening, frankly. And with the communists in charge, look, you just go back 1,000 years. I mean, it's been done many times, 1,000 years. It's never worked once, so it's not going to work now either.
Mr. President, you're building your ballroom right now. They're also building the Obama Presidential Library. I'm wondering if you've
He needs
seen.
help.
Have you seen pictures of the architecture and
Yeah,
what
I
do you think
did.
of it?
It's not too pretty. No, but it's closed. It's stopped. They ran out of money. I mean, he's building a library / museum. You know, you call it some museum, and usually they call it library and museum. That's the official name. And they're stuck. And he wanted only women and DEI to build it. Well, that's what they got. And the construction workers are standing out there and saying, we want to be able to build it. You know, I built a great building in Chicago, as you know, a big, beautiful building, one of the tallest buildings in the country. And we got it built very quickly, very well. And we use the construction workers of Chicago. They're great workers. They're great construction people. And I suggest that he get them involved. But they're hundreds of millions of dollars over budget. And I think it stopped. I'm reading these terrible stories. But that's the way our country was run under President Obama, too. Nobody knew it.
Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Russia remains China's top crude oil supplier in September. Are you considering tariffs on China?
Well, I mean, you read the same papers as I do, but I don't have to read the papers because I'm the one. Right now, as of November 1st, China will have about 155% tariff put on it. And I don't think it's sustainable for them, so I want to be nice to China. But China's been very rough with us over the years because we had presidents that weren't smart from a business standpoint. Some were good politicians, some weren't even good politicians, but they allowed China to take advantage of us and every other country to take advantage of us. If you see, I made a deal with the European Union. I made a deal with Japan, with South Korea. I made a lot of these deals that are great deals, and I was able to do it.
Yeah, so China got about 9 days to get their act together. And like I said, pretty much come to the table with a reasonable deal instead of trying to control other countries with their dominance on the rare earth mineral refinery. So, yeah, it's like it's either they play fair or we decimate their economy with 100% tariff. Like, we'll see what happens, but they got 9 days to show what they're going to do because, I mean, let's be real. What China was trying to do behind our back was crazy by sending out letters to other countries saying that, yeah, limit your exports of rare earth minerals so we can limit their supply of products they can make. And that's going to skyrocket their prices. And the American people ain't going to know no better, but they will just sit there and blame Trump.
But it's really national security. I was able to do it
smart
because of
plan.
tariffs. And we're getting hundreds of billions, even trillions of dollars paid into the United States. We're a very rich country again. We'll start paying off debt. We'll do a lot of things. We'll probably make a distribution out of some of the tariff money. I think we're going to make a distribution over the next fairly short period of time to people because we took in so much money from the tariffs. Just European Union, $650 billion. Japan, $550 billion. South Korea, $350 billion. That's even a lot of money for you guys, right? That's not bad, right? But no, we're taking in a lot of money, and it keeps people like this here because that's why they're coming in. I mean, you wouldn't be, I mean, I'm not going to speak for you, but generally they won't be coming in if it were for tariffs. They come in here and they don't have to pay any tariff. If they do it outside, they pay a lot of money, a lot of tariffs. The money comes to us. And in order not to pay the tariff, they come and they build here. That's why we have more plants under construction than we've ever had in the history of our country. And you wouldn't think it's complicated, but you would have thought somebody would have done this a long time ago, sitting in this beautiful seat behind what's called the Resolute desk. You know that, right? This is a very famous. This is even more famous than any of your desks. But your desks are very good.
Follow up on her question to you, because the New York Times is reporting that your legal team is seeking $230 million from your own Justice Department now,
which is
in
hilarious,
response to the investigations into you.
Is
that something you want your legal team to do?
I don't know what the numbers are. I don't even talk to them about it. All I know is that they would owe me a lot of money, but I'm not looking for money. I'd give it to charity or something. I would give it to charity, any money. But look, what they did, they rigged the election.
Yeah, so pretty much Trump is suing his own DOJ for $230 million for election rigging. And like I said, I mean, hopefully they produce all the evidence so we get confirmation on what actually happened. But yeah, if Trump wins, then that's $230 million that he says he's going to give away for, I guess, the ballroom that the Dems are so upset about, or a charity.
And as you know, we had in one case 60 Minutes had to pay us a lot of.
And Dems, come on now, it's a nice ballroom. Like, you got to be real. It's all gold and white and shiny. It's like, no, I'm just playing. All right, I'm not going to irritate y'all too much.
Money, George Slobodanopoulos had to pay us a lot of money, and they already paid. You know, they paid me a lot of money because what they did was wrong. And you know, when somebody does what's wrong, now with the country, it's interesting because I'm the one that makes the decision, right? And you know, that decision would have to go across my desk. And it's awfully strange to make a decision where I'm paying myself. In other words, did you ever have one of those cases where you have to decide how much you're paying yourself in damages? but I was damaged very greatly. And any money that I would get, I would give to charity.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Is the Democrat Party now more Zohran Mamdani's party than it is even Leader Schumer's or Leader
Probably
Jeffries?
is, yeah. I mean, maybe he'll run for president in 4 years. You have a communist president. That would be interesting, right? I don't see it happening, you know.
I mean, I don't know, Trump, man. Don't play with the man. The man got a lot of charisma. He just has terrible policies, absolutely terrible policies. But hey, we'll see. We'll see how they're implemented because I don't see, you know, Curtis Sliwa or Cuomo beating Mamdani. I just don't see it. It seems like the people in New York have already chosen.
I've always said you will never see, and I always talked about socialism, and you will never see a socialist so-and-so. And I was right. I say it in speeches, we will not have socialism in our country. And I was right. Communism, yes, but socialism. In other words, they skipped socialism and they went down to communism. No, he's a communist, and he's going to be maybe the mayor of New York. I don't know, maybe, you know, polls are wrong, but these polls seem to be pretty consistent. But he would be, I would say he would be the leader of the party. It's not Schumer. Schumer's shot. He's shot. This poor guy, I feel sorry for him. I known him for a long time.
And shout out Bobby M. He said, Trump put Argentina farmers over American farmers, make Argentina great again. And you know what, Bobby? Actually, let me go ahead and explain that to you. He's actually given that for, what was it? To stabilize their peso, right? Because if their economy is to fall out, then it's going to cause, well, what was it? Economic instability in the region. Yeah, economical instability in the region of South America. So that means Chile is going to go, Brazil's going to go, and other countries around there, Venezuela, Guyana, all these South American countries are going to go under just because Argentina's economy is going under. It's very vital to the, I guess, the economic system of South America. So we kind of got to bail them out. And they're part of the International Monetary Fund. So you might want to look into that as well. So we kind of have like really no choice, but we are working on a way to make it work for us by purchasing their beef, increasing the supply of beef in America, thus bringing down the prices. So, hey, we're trying to make a way for us to make it work for us. Now, as far as the soybeans part, I agree with you. I do agree with you that it is a bit funny he's working with these guys that China is literally using to spite us on the soybeans. So I do wonder how he's going to work that out. So I agree with you on that aspect. It is funny and fugazi.
Long time, but he's I think he's mentally gone. He's been beat up by young radical lunatics, and I think Chuck Schumer is he's gonzo. I really do. I think he's probably not going to run. It shows that he's losing in every poll. Now, this is hard. You know, he wants to meet with me. It's sort of hard to meet with a guy after I make a statement like that, but I'm just giving the facts. I think Chuck is probably finished. I know some people, Democrats, that would be good. Some good politicians and some, you know, reasonable people. But I understand that they would not have a chance of, you know.
And I don't know. I'm a bit surprised at the Dems. I mean, the same guys that was crying over U.S. aid is crying over, you know, Trump giving U.S. aid to another country. I mean, you remember how you guys are crying over that and talking about how we were just leaving the world out there to fend for themselves. We're taking away all these humanitarian programs from them. Remember that argument that you had for us? So, you know, Trump want to give Argentina $20 billion so the entire economic ecosystem of South America doesn't fall apart. I mean, come on, guys. Can we be consistent? Can we? Is it possible for y'all?
Even the concept of holding the torch, they're not going to get it. But they have some people that I really believe they're low IQ people. They're stupid people, and they seem to be leading the party. So we'll see what happens. Look, the Republicans are strong. We have great leadership. We're very strong in every way, and we're going to keep it that way. But we are really a strong party. You know, our party's grown magnificently. We've got, look at all the union votes I got. Nobody thought that was ever possible. Look at the election where I won I won everything. I won all 7 swing states. If you win 3 or 4 swing states, you're doing great. I won all 7 by a lot.
That's funny.
And I think the best thing when you look at districts, 2,700 versus 525. That's big. That's why the map shows all red. So we won in a tremendous landslide, and that's because people like our policy. I guess they like me, but they like my policies. Strong borders, good education, low taxes, you know. In the great big beautiful bill, we got the biggest tax cut in history. Not only no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, we got the biggest tax cut in the history of our country in the bill that we just approved. And I think people see that and they like it, and that's why we're doing well, but they are not. They do not have leadership. Thank you very much, everybody.
And all right, now let's go to Trump's little, he had a nice little speech. What was it, a Rose Garden speech? We're going to watch about half of it, and then we're going to get into the media analysis because, like I said, a lot went down during the past 24 hours. Now let's get right into it.
Alien criminals out of our country. You passed the Genius Act and the Take It Down Act with the support of our wonderful First Lady. She got, by the way, she got actual support from the other side. It was bipartisan. I think Rand didn't vote for it again, but I think it was only Rand. You had bipartisan support other than maybe Rand. But another one I'm going to ask you to vote for, and it's in the House now, and I hear it's doing well in the House, James. It's Kate's Law. A young lady named Kate Steinle, I remember it so well, probably 8 or 10 years ago now in San Francisco. She was holding hands with her father on the San Francisco pier, looking out into the water. This beautiful, everything was beautiful, but the person wasn't beautiful that did this. And this was an illegal alien that came into our country 5 times, was thrown out 4 or 5 times, they don't even know, but a lot, and came back and shot her through the head. And she went down and she looked at her father, Daddy, Daddy, something happened, and she immediately passed away in his arm. And I mean, you can imagine, it was so sad, such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful person. Father was destroyed, you know, virtually destroyed. And they passed they wanted to pass what they call Kate's Law, and it's now again in Congress, and I hear we're going to get it passed in Congress, and when it gets up to the Senate, I hope you guys can pass it. And basically, very simply, it says that if you're an illegal alien and you come in and you get thrown out, if you come back and get caught, you have to spend 10 years in jail. Very simple.
Yeah, I know, it is a felony.
If they would have had,
I mean, here's the thing. It should have been a felony the second time he got caught, the third time he got caught. That was a felony. Repeated offenses of crossing the border without documentation. Yeah, that's a felony. Your first time is a misdemeanor, but you do it again and that could be bumped up to a felony. So the fact that this man wasn't spending some time in jail is absolutely amazing.
That Kate Steinle would be alive today. That was a big event at the time. If you remember Bill O'Reilly, for those of you that like Bill, I think I like Bill, but he was the one, he devoted his life to that law, trying to get it passed. I think it's time that we pass it so that if you get taken out of the country and you come back illegally, knowing that this law is in existence, you go to jail for a 10-year period, and it's going to keep the repeat offenders from coming in. It's going to really keep them from coming in. Senate Republicans have already voted 11 times to get our government back and open for business. We have record business. We're going to be, I think, by the time I had my, I hit month number.
Yeah, we tried to, well, let me say this. The Republican senators tried to get the Democratic senators to vote on the CR bill again. It didn't go through. Once again, the Republicans said, look, we'll go ahead and give you the 1-year extension on the Obama healthcare subsidies, but we're not going to make it permanent. And we will not give you 1.5, trillion in Medicaid spending. Once again, they came to that conclusion that, yep, I guess this bill's not going to be signed. And this is where, Trump had, well, pretty much Trump said in the last video, it's like, okay, well, then we're just going to wait until you guys open it up. We're not even going to talk to you guys until you open up the government.
12, I think we're going to have $20 trillion of investment. We're over 17 right now. As an example, President Biden had less than $1 trillion for 4 years. We're going to have $20 trillion in less than 12 months, and we're over 17 trillion right now. So it's the largest amount in our country by far, by many times. That's in our country. But here's the one. It's the largest amount in the history of the world. There's never been a country that's had anywhere near 17, or it will be 20, and it's going up fast. A lot of it's because of tariffs, because they're coming in because they don't want to pay tariffs. In other words, they make their product in a certain country and they used to just send it in here and there was no charge. Absolutely. Now, if they have to pay a 20%, 30%, 50%, 100%, or 2% tariff, they say, well, it's better if I build my plant in the United States. It always amazed me I did this first term. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country in first term.
And people who think that, oh, tariffs are just a tax on the consumer. I mean, you really don't know how tariffs work. Because if that was true, then why are countries bending the knee to these tariffs? Why are companies bending the knee to these tariffs? Even pharmaceutical companies. These pharmaceutical companies did not promise anything to Trump until he put 100% on their entire sector. Now these guys want to start bringing over manufacturing. Now these guys are looking to lower their Medicaid prices. Well, I'm sorry, but pharmaceutical prices for Medicaid recipients. Now they're willing to do all this. It goes to show that, yeah, you guys are wrong about the way tariffs work. It's not a direct tax to the consumer. And one, of course, it all depends on the saturation of the market, but you guys ain't willing to hear that argument. And I don't have time to give you guys an economic lesson. Maybe later, though.
We had COVID and we did a good job with that. That was a curse for every country in the world. It was terrible, but we had the greatest economy we ever had. But if you remember, I started the tariffs, but I held it off because it wouldn't have exactly been good at the time to tell France, what they were going through, what Spain was going through.
And if tariffs raise prices, I mean, then why didn't we see prices raised in his first term? Actually, price lowered in his first term and wages rose in his first term. And that's when we had about a good 15 to 30% tariff on China. And you guys said nothing then. I mean, he comes back with these tariffs again just to bring back American manufacturing and bring investment into America. And you guys are now, I ain't gonna lie, bastardizing the definition of tariffs. Y'all really don't know what it is, huh?
And Italy was going through that. By the way, we're going to charge you tariffs. But I had started the process. We were going, the country was doing good. And I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. I put the full tariffs on China. Biden left the tariffs because he couldn't. It was too much money, but they gave so many exceptions that they were essentially meaningless. In other words,
let me tell you a reason why a tariff one of the scenarios where a tariff would not get passed on to the consumer. It depends on how desperate that supplier is to keep business. In China, they are very desperate to keep our business. A lot of their companies, their manufacturing, runs off American consumerism. If they lose the American market, they lose their company. A lot of companies around the world are like that, but predominantly in China. So these companies have to cut their prices by whatever the tariff is to keep that business with an American importer. If not, the American importer can go somewhere else. I mean, in textile, clothing, furniture. There's other countries that make these things where they don't have to deal with a tariff and they don't got to deal with China possibly sending fentanyl with it. So trust me, these people in China are desperately willing to cut a price. Why? Because they need to keep that importer. They got to keep their biggest buyer. Because why would you cut off your biggest buyer? Why would you let them go somewhere else because you don't want to cut your prices by 30, 40, 50%? I mean, hey, it's just the way business works. And of course, like I said, this all depends on the industry. Like I said, in the tech where there's less competition, in that scenario, it could possibly get passed on to the consumer due to the lack of competition. But if there's heavy competition in the market and they raise their price, they could lose out on a lot of sales. But like I said, a lot of y'all don't understand business or the dynamics of business to understand, tariffs.
The tariffs, but you don't have to pay if you look at somebody the wrong way. You don't have to pay. So they didn't pay very much. But with me, they were paying hundreds of billions of dollars. And again, I have a great relationship with President Xi. I expect to be able to make a good deal with him, and I want him to make a good deal for China, but it's got to be fair. For years, they were making $500, $600, $700 billion, $700 billion, and we'd be making nothing. It was a one-sided. Honestly, we built their military. We built China's military with the money that we lost for so many years getting ripped off. So now we're going to have a fair deal. I think we're going to have a very successful meeting. Certainly, there are a lot of people that are waiting for it. Maybe it won't happen, Maybe it won't happen.
And shout out Tove. Can you make me a temporary mod? Actually, no problem at all, Tove. I got you. And let's see here. Oh, shout out to my man Chase. He says, Hellbat trying to mod alone. Let me and Tove coach. I got you, man. I got y'all.
Things can happen where, for instance, maybe somebody will say, I don't want to meet, it's too nasty. But it's really not nasty. It's just business. And we're gonna do a good job representing you people and representing the people of our country. Unfortunately, in a craven and pointless act of partisan spite, Chuck Schumer, who I've known for a long time, and the radical left Democrats are holding the entire federal government hostage to appease the extremists in their party. And they are extreme. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. They're extreme. And you know what? We had a landslide election. We won the popular vote by a lot. We won the swing states, all 7. Remember, they said, oh, if Trump could get 3 swing states, he'd be.
And Kamala Harris called that the closest election in American history. She was oh so close, but you lost the popular vote, the electoral vote. I mean, you lost all 7 swing states. You did not win, not one out of 7, but you lost all 7. Like, I mean, man, to not call out a blowout, you got to be delusional.
And, well, I didn't get 3, I got 7. We got all 7 by a lot, by record numbers. We won the Electoral College, 312 votes. They said it's very hard for a Republican. No, it's harder for a Republican, although now I think we've swapped it. I think it's now harder for a Democrat, because if you see what we've done with the Hispanics, with the black workers and black men, and recently a poll came out with black men and women were doing so well. You know, they want security. They don't want to have their city destroyed. Women in Chicago, beautiful black.
I know, and they want the immigrants taken out, the illegals taken out of their cities so they can, you know, start working and not, you know, have illegals pretty much undermine them for jobs. I mean, yeah, guys. Yeah. Illegals undermine people in the black community for jobs. I mean, I know y'all don't care because, I mean, y'all pretend to care about the black community, but you care about immigrants, illegal immigrants, more than you care about, you know, people in the black community. It's actually absolutely hilarious how Democrats think.
Black women walking around with red MAGA hats because they don't want to be mugged and shot and everything else. And then you see a Democrat get up and tell you how safe it is in Chicago. Do you know they've had, in a fairly short period of time, 4,000 murders. This is over a short period of time, 4,000 murders.
I mean, and it's been that way since, I mean, it's probably been that way since 2014. It's been that way for a while now in New York.
And
whoa, not New York. Sorry. Chicago. It's been like that a while. Well, been like that for a while in Chicago. And if you want proof of it, there's actually a really good, what was it? Is it a, okay, yeah, it is a YouTube channel. All right, cool. I thought it was like a website, but yeah, it was actually a YouTube channel called Street News. It will literally give you the entire breakdown of gang violence in Chicago, all the way out from like what, 08 all the way up to now. And you will see how bad the gang violence has gotten over the time in Chicago and how the gangs have only gotten richer and more violent.
Almost 100 shot. And then you listen to this guy, Pritzker. I've known the family for a long time. They threw him out because he was no good, and he became governor. He's got money through the family. He's got money through the family. But they threw him out, he became governor. I said, I wonder how he's going to do. It's a crime palace. It's a shame. And you know what we did in D.C. is unbelievable. You people, you can walk down the middle of the street, Mr. Senator. You can walk down. You can have your wife meet you at the restaurant, and she's not going to be accosted, shot, beat up, raped. It's unbelievable how bad it was. It was one of the worst in the country, and now it's stone cold. I don't say the word perfect, but it's pretty damn close. And, you know, they would average more than a murder a week in Washington, D.C. This is just before we got here, a murder a week. Think of that. The capital of, in my opinion, the capital of the world. They come from Iowa, they come from Indiana, they come from Florida. You call up the parents, I'm sorry, sir, your son has been shot and killed. We have no crime here now. We have no crime. And the National Guard has been unbelievable, the job.
Yeah, the people in DC are happy. I mean, people in Memphis has been speaking out. They're happy. I mean, people in Chicago is begging Trump to pretty much bring in the National Guard. So, hey, man, well, hopefully he brings them there. Hopefully that goes in there. That goes their way.
Unbelievable. And you know, it also looks better. I do a tour. I hop in that beast. I feel very safe in the beast. The windows are this thick. But I hop in the beast and I tell the Secret Service, let's drive around town. I used to do that myself. I could drive myself around. I actually like that better. But now I don't think it's a good idea. But we drive around in the streets. The place is looking much, the grass is good. The fences are down. There's no tents. There's no anything. We are looking like it's just a whole new look. And the most important.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been hearing too. Around in places where the National Guard is set foot in, like Memphis, they're going like, bro, it's quiet outside. It locked up all the criminals, the warrants, and all that good stuff. There's damn near a rainbow over the ghetto in Memphis. It's beautiful.
Thing, there's no crime, and we're going to fix the roads. We have great pavers. We're going to fix the medians in between the roads, which are half of them are falling down. We're going to take some of the tiles off the bridges, the tunnels that you have. They've been up for 40.
Hey, shout out to Bobby M. What are black jobs? Well, bro, I'm gonna be real with you. All right, so think about like this. When I say immigrants literally come into the black community and take black jobs, because when these illegals come into here, y'all stuff them in black communities most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time, because we seen what y'all did over there in Springfield, Ohio, and that was wild. Well, what Biden did over there in Springfield, Ohio, and that was wild. But most of the time, they're pushing to black communities, taking black jobs. That's what we're talking about. In a predominantly black area, there are certain workplaces that are dominated by Hispanics, Africans, Arabs, with barely any black people working there. And this is their district, their city. They predominantly live there, but they're not getting any of the jobs. But they are on the street out there committing crime. Why? Because, well, there really isn't no jobs. But guess what there is out there on the streets? Drugs to sell, guns to tote, and people to rob. So, hey, what can I say, man? Some people just don't understand the full gravity of, you know, the situation in the black community, and they kind of throw a blanket over it just to say F Trump, which is sick, but it is what it is.
40 years, they're rotted, and we'll put up brand new, gorgeous white tiles like it's supposed to be. But this place is looking really good, and we haven't even started the real fixing up of the town. We're getting rid of the graffiti. You notice there's almost no graffiti anymore. A lot of that beautiful statuary marble had red graffiti all over it, had bad signs.
Nope, it's not that. The boys in the hood do work. The problem is that they undersell the boys in the hood because they're American citizens. They actually got to pay them an American wage. They undersell the boys in the hood and they don't even give them that opportunity. So I would hope you're not at them, because I would hope that you guys are for the ones who are for affirmative action, all that bullshit, that would want, you know, these boys in the black hood to have that opportunity. And hopefully you're not an immigrant as well, because that just shows how, well, your kind don't really care about my kind too much. So why should we give a damn when ICE is kicking in y'all doors and deporting y'all? I mean, y'all don't care that y'all take jobs from us. Y'all don't care that y'all break into our community and take resources from us. So why are we supposed to care that ICE is sending y'all ass back home? Thought so. And like I said, they rather call our people lazy than say the truth, that they literally flood our cities with immigrants, flood our district with immigrants, take the jobs, and then they want to call the black youth lazy. It's like, and these are Dems.
Lines up, and it stopped. We've taken out 1,700 career criminals and people that came in through an open border. They came in through Biden's open border. And we've taken them out. The thing having to do with all of the elements in the great.
Trust me, but look, Americans, black youth, we're not lazy. You guys are just cheap. Remember that, illegals. If you're an illegal watching this, I want this to get this through your head. You're not better than us. You don't work harder than us. You're just cheaper than us. Remember that.
Big, beautiful bill. I'll tell you, it's amazing what we've done. $200 billion in costs for medical. What we've done, $50 billion for rural hospitals. And remember, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on. Think of all of these.
Bobby M. Black Americans have been getting more educated, entering fields of doctor, lawyers. I'm not going to allow you to play that narrative. No Americans are competing with illegals. Bro, that was the dumbest statement. Bro, what? Bobby, really? So what about the American roofer that got to compete with the illegal roofers that can do their job for half the price? That's not competing? Plumbers, electricians, they're not competing against illegals? Like, bro, that sounded so retarded. I'm sorry, dog, but you know that's wrong. Like, I know you want to sit here and have a gotcha moment, but that was incredibly insensitive to say. Like, no Americans. Like, bro, every time they let illegals into the factories, that was basically undermining Americans. Every time they let illegals onto construction, that's undermining Americans. Even when they let the illegals work the farm jobs, that's undermining Americans. That was the most stupidest out of touch statement I've ever heard you say, bro.
Things that we've done. This is the biggest, this is the greatest bill. Social Security, no tax on overtime, but no tax on tips. I got that from a waitress in Nevada. I was making a speech and I'm at one of my restaurants in the hotel I own there. And I say, how are you doing? Well, sir, it's terrible. They're taxing my tips. They're going, I wouldn't have even thought that. And I looked at it, and she said to me, sir, there should be no tax on tips. I said, say it one time more. No tax on tips. I walked outside to the press. I said, there will be no tax on tips.
And Bobby, look at the guys who disagreeing with me, and look what they're saying. Are they saying what you're saying about the black community, or are they trying to call us lazy? And I'm assuming that you're black because, you know, you made that statement. So, Bobby, look at the chat, and look what they're saying about your community. And how we're just lazy and all that good stuff. And I'm literally telling you how they not only undermine American people, but we can go ahead and hone in on the group of black youth that are also undermined by illegal work. So, dog, you just don't know what's going on at a certain point. Like, that is crazy. No Americans are competing with illegals. That is wild. Like, dog, the guys standing outside of Home Depot are undermining Americans. Oh man, that was hilarious. Oh man. Whew. All right, shout out Tove. The left-wing trucker already talked about this and how he now has a job because of the laws about English and the deportations. Yeah, it was a black trucker and he's a left-wing trucker. Yeah, he was a black trucker pretty much saying that, yo, just because now they're requiring these guys to learn English, now there's more opportunity for Americans like me. And he was a black guy saying this, and that's exactly what I was talking about. It's in trucking. It's all over. It's damn near almost in every industry but the higher levels. And I love how Bobby brought up doctor, lawyer, you know, the ones that the illegals can't get into. Like, but you don't want to talk about the middle class jobs, about the other Americans. You want to talk about the doctors and the lawyers. Like, come on, bro. Like, step down from your ivory tower and let's sit down here with the real people. Let's talk about what they go through.
That's right. And we won that state by a lot. That's not a state that we win by that.
And I'm supposed to be the conservative here. I'm supposed to be the conservative. I'm sounding like the liberal. Like, bruh.
Not much, David, but we won it by a lot. So it was pretty good. But that bill is chock full of so many different things. So it was the biggest bill. I'm actually saying this to the fake news so that they maybe print it, but maybe not, because you people know. It was the biggest bill ever passed in Congress. And what we did was a little risky. We put everything into the bill, John, right? And some people were against it. They said, no, you got to do small bites. And we gave it a shot, and we got it passed. I got a call from John. He said, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. Sir, we have 4 hard no's. Could you please call him? I said, what time is it, John? It's 4 o'clock in the morning, sir. So I call up. One of you is sitting right here. I said, Jim, could I say hello to you? It's 4 o'clock in the morning, right? He said, sir, you have my vote. I said, wow. Then I called up another person. I'll use fictitious names. Doug, could I get your vote? You've got it, sir. Then I called up another one. How about Josh? Could I have your vote, Josh? Because I like Josh. And Josh, who can be very difficult, said, sir, you have my vote. His wife was screaming at him on the other side. Sir, you have my vote. But I called people, and they weren't really hard-nosed. They wanted a little attention, unfortunately, at 4 in the morning. Sometimes I like the ones that don't like the attention, but we'll take it anywhere we can. And we got it passed, right, John? And nobody thought that could happen because you have a small majority. And in the how about in the House, we had a majority of 3. We actually went down after that for a period of about 2 months. We went down to a majority in the House of 1. And I kept saying, you know, because I'll tell you, Mike Johnson's great. The team, these 2 teams, did you ever see 2 people more different? One's tall, one's slightly less tall. We want to be polite. They are very different people, but they're the same in terms of talent. They did the 2 guys, and they get along incredibly well. We all do. We get along great. But we passed a bill. We don't need to pass any more bills. We got everything in that bill. There's nothing else we have to put. We got the largest.
I mean, yeah, the entire agenda has been set in the big, beautiful bill. There's nothing else that needs to be said. They don't want to change anything. And that's why I would just say it was a non-negotiable that the Democratic Party, or my bad, but Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, sorry about that. Well, they wanted to pretty much reverse that cuts. They wanted to reverse the cuts set in the big, beautiful bill. And that was Trump's entire initiative laid out in, well, one big, beautiful bill. So for them to even try to go against that, they knew that was a non-negotiable, and they kind of knew they were going to go get into a government shutdown. So I don't even know how anybody could see this as Trump's fault, since, you know, the Dems are the demanding party, and all the Republicans, they're okay with the CR. It's the Dems that want to add spending. I mean, not the Republicans. Usually it's the Republicans, ironically.
Tax cuts in history. We got the extension of the Trump tax cuts. We got all of these things. And, you know, remember, they lie. They will look at I saw it the other day, they were talking about, I call it the great big beautiful bill, but that's what it is, the great big beautiful, the biggest bill ever passed. And what they say, they make up stories. And I saw they were interviewing a senator, and they said, well, what's wrong with their bill? He didn't know what to say, because there's nothing he could say. It covers everything. He said, death. It brings death.
Bruh.
Now, if I'm a regular person and I hear that, I say, oh, that's terrible. But it's just the opposite. It brings life. It brings Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. It secures all those things. And they just are so bad. You know, they said death. It was like death.
Yeah, they said it will kill many Americans. Many Americans will be kicked off Medicaid or healthcare, and they're just going to die. It's like, and here's the thing, nobody died yet. I mean, they can't name not one person that died because they fell off Medicaid. Medicaid right now is about 70 million recipients. It has not fell to 65 million or 60 million. Then there would be some credit to what you're saying. But we still got about 70 million people on there. And guess what? There's only been a 1 million difference since, like, what, in 4 years. Like in 2019, we had 71 million. Now we only got 70. So where's this healthcare crisis? Well, I'm gonna be real with you. People are still on healthcare. Hella people have not been kicked off healthcare. So please, where is this healthcare crisis coming from? And where are these deaths going to happen at? Like, please tell me how y'all going to count that as well. I'm really interested.
There's nothing about death. Theirs is death, because they're going to lose Medicaid. They're going to lose Social Security. They're going to lose Medicare. All of those things are going to be gone because the whole country would be bankrupt, and you're not going to have any kind of medical insurance. So with us, it's the opposite. And it's a great bill. We don't need any more. And I want to just say from the beginning, our message has been very simple. We will not be extorted on this crazy plot of theirs. They've never done this before. Nobody has. You always vote for an extension. Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats need to vote for the clean, bipartisan CR and reopen our government. It's got to be reopened right now. We're not doing that. They are the obstructionists. And the reason they're doing it is because we're doing so well. We're doing well all over the world. We're doing well with the close to $20 trillion that I just told you about. It will be that number, but even if you take it down to over 17, that's a guarantee. We're doing well with everything. Car plants are pouring back into our country. AI plants, we're leading. We're dominating China right now in AI. And I did something that I think you'd like, because we have an old grid. It's a tired grid. It doesn't have the juice that you need to fire up these plants. You know, these plants will need more than double the energy we have right now for the whole country. That's how big it is. And we can't do that. There's no way we can do that. China's building right now 52 power stations. But I did something better. I'm letting everybody build their own power plant. So they'll become like an electric utility in addition to AI. But if they want to build their own plant and we get their approvals within less than a month, it used to take 5 years prior to rejection. Sometimes a guy in Louisiana, they had one that took 12 years.
Now, I'm a bit skeptical on how we're going to compete with China when it comes to AI because, I mean, we got the technology. I mean, we got the people here to make the technology. But the problem is, well, we got environmental protection laws. China doesn't. They don't care about their environment. So they'll do whatever they need to at the risk of their people, environment, water supply. They don't give a damn as long as the product is made. So it's really hard to compete with people who operate like that. I'm just going to be real. Like, I don't see us competing with them on AI just because, I mean, they're willing to throw the whole environment away just to dominate an AI. I mean, look what they're doing in rare earth refinery. Right, they're throwing they're really throwing away the whole environment away over that alone. So we got to understand, China don't give a F. And if we want to compete with China, then we're going to have to cut back on our consideration of the environment as well. And I don't think a lot of us want to do that because I like my national parks as well.
And then they got rejected. I got it approved in 2 weeks when I got into office. That was the first term. And the plant is up now, and it's been a great thing for the state. I did it twice, actually. I got 2 of them that were dead after 12 years, and I got them approved, both of them, in less than a week. And that's what we're doing. Lee Zeldin, by the way, is doing a phenomenal job, environmental commissioner, I have to tell you. He knows that we have to get them fast, and we're getting them fast. So we're leading China in the AI race by a lot. Under Biden, Democrats voted 13 times for continuing resolutions to keep the government open. And all we want is simply to ask them to do it once again. They always voted for it. They never voted against it. Nobody votes against it. But they do that, and they do. It's partially my fault. I mean, I'm watching you, and I'm looking at all these great faces that I've seen, really great people. I think with few exceptions, a couple of you I don't like that much, but with few exceptions, great people. And you look at what they do, and you look at the game they play, and it's a horrible game. And, we have the hottest country ever. This is the hottest country anywhere in the world. And I say this, I'm sure you've heard me say it, but I was over in the Middle East, and the King of Saudi Arabia and others also said essentially the same thing. They said, President, a year and a half ago, your country was dead. We never thought we'd see this. And right now, you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We do. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world, which tells you about leadership, and that includes your leadership. So as you know, my door is always open to anyone. It's not like that AOC. How about her, where she said, she's talking about having rebellions and everything. She said, well, my door is always open. But she's not the leader.
Man, bro, she acts like it. I mean, they follow her like she's the leader. It does seem like the Democratic Party done cucked out to the radical left women in the Democratic Party. And it's AOC and Jasmine Crockett, because like I said, it was those two that was low-key, I ain't gonna lie, grilling Chuck Schumer about passing the CR bill. It was in like either February or March when he did it. And they was low-key on his ass about it. They was saying, oh, you capitulated to Trump. You bend the knee to the king. Like, you were supposed to shut the government down over it. But Chuck Schumer didn't. Now he's seen how much backlash he got from last time, and he's like, all right, I got to do something or I'm going to get primaried against. And so he capitulated to the radical left instead of, doing what's right for the people.
I'm sure the leaders felt very nicely about when she said her door is open. Who the hell wants to go into her door anyway? She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. She's the one that started. I remember, I'll never forget, she never took a course on the environment. And I watched her one day, and she was on television. She said, yes, our planet will be dead within 12 years. That was a long time ago. Our planet was supposed to be dead. Remember the 12-year theory? We were environmentally dead. Now, these people, they've got an agenda that nobody quite understands. The good news is they don't understand it either. They really have no idea. But the people do. The people understand. We're giving you the biggest tax cuts in history. All of these things, it all adds up that we should do fantastically well in the midterm. The only thing wrong with the midterms is that statistically, when you look, a president gets elected, and for some reason, and nobody, even the great John Thune, cannot explain to me, for some reason, even if he's a reasonably good president, and we've had success like nobody, but for some reason, you lose the midterms. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I mean, the odds are tremendously against, like 92% or something. It doesn't make sense. If
Yeah,
you-
9 times out of 10. I mean, if a Republican's in office, then the Democrats take over. If a Democrats in office, the Republicans take over. And like I said, this seeming to be the worst Democratic Party in history, well, they might break that curse, and the Republicans might, well, not only still be in power, but might take even more seats. And I would honestly, I don't want this to be a one-party system, so I kind of hope that doesn't really happen. Like, you know, it's kind of remains the same, but I don't know, the way these Dems are operating their cities, the way they're protesting Trump instead of helping out their constituents. I don't know how that's going to work out for you guys in the midterms. And now you're just grandstanding on healthcare that, well, Obama put into policy, and that's failing. Yes, Obamacare is low-key failing. And guess what? Even with the the enhanced Obama healthcare subsidies that's gonna expire on the 31st, that the Republicans offer 1-year extension on, even with those, your insurance premium were still gonna go up by 5 to 13%. Still, and you wanna know why? Because Obamacare is a failure. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Illegals are taking American jobs. Same people, let's build AI plants. Yeah, because we can do that with Americans. I mean, we have enough Americans to build AI plants. I think it's a pretty foolish thing to sit there and think that, oh, we need illegals to. That's what I'm saying. Y'all fall for the propaganda so easy. So you think we need illegals to build things? No, we don't. We have Americans that are willing to do it. We don't need illegals to fix our roof, do our plumbing. We got Americans that can do it. We have everything we need within our own American people. We don't need to start letting people rush over the border to take work. Like, we don't. And it undermines American citizens. But for some reason, you don't care about that. And that's fine. That's fine. And like I said, your point, I mean, it's not really a good point, because like, what? Illegals are taking jobs, but at the same time, let's build AI plants. What does AI plans have to do with illegals taking jobs? You're trying to say that, oh, there's no way they're going to be built without illegals, then like, dog, like, really, bro, you're delusional at a certain point, and you love illegals more than U.S. citizens at that time. That's all I can pretty much say about you. And you're an American citizen writing like this. Like, dog literally supports illegals, believe in illegals more than his own American citizens. Like, but then they want to call us un-American, though. Call me un-American. But I'm actually speaking for the American people. You're literally trying to say that we need immigrants, and like we need immigrants. Like, we're just dependent on them. They're just so better than us than working. Like, how can we ever just kick them out? No, they're not better than us. They don't work harder than us. They're just cheaper than us. Y'all got to get that through y'all thick head.
Presidency, it only makes sense that you win the midterm. So there should be no reason for it. Somebody's going to explain.
Bro, who sits there and roots for people from another country over your own? Like, bro, how un-American is that?
Some dark, deep psychological reason where they want to vote the opposite way. I don't know what it is, but we have to win the midterms. Otherwise, all of the things that we've done, so many of them are going to be taken away by the radical left lunatics. I mean, we're going to end up with a communist mayor in New York. Can you believe it? A communist. Remember, I would always say, we will not have a socialist elected in our country. Remember, I'd say that all the time. And I was right. We skipped socialist. We got a communist elected. So I didn't tell a lie. I didn't tell a lie. I was right. We'll have a communist, not a socialist. But we've already seen the impacts of the dangerous game that they're playing. Democrats are causing delays in our air traffic control system. So important. We wouldn't have had, there's Pete Buttigieg. He spent billions of dollars on fixing the air traffic control that used copper wire going into glass wire. Any union electrician here or any non-union electrician would say you can't hook copper into glass. It doesn't work. They spent billions of dollars. They turned on the system, and it was stone cold blank. We're getting a brand new system. We have bids out now. We have 3 great companies bidding. And I want one bid. Sean Duffy's doing terrifically. I want one bid. I want just bid, and they're responsible for everything. Not where they had like 1,000.
Bobby, okay, then use that same argument for China, because China, they're excelling in AI, and we just want China to dominate the market in AI. Can't allow that to happen. It's us a national security and an intelligence risk at the same time. So, they're building AI. They're building AI to replace Americans with. Like, bro, they like honestly, ChatGPT been doing that. And let's be honest, bro. Almost everybody's job's on the line. And also AI's also created a lot of jobs as well. AI's made a lot of people rich who aren't the multi-billionaires. So AI can take some jobs, but it also creates jobs as well. So, like, look, I think it's going to pivot people towards a different form of training, because now instead of, doing everything that AI can now do, we're going to utilize our talents, all that, to pretty much just upkeeping AI, which kind of seems like where we're going with the data centers and, the uptick in STEM degrees and all that good stuff, which that's why I tell everybody, get into STEM, because it seems like everything is going in that direction, because AI is about to handle everything else on the other side of it.
Contractors,
So, I mean, bro, it's a duality to it. It'll take jobs, but also create jobs.
Contractor, they're all running around.
Bro, you could say the same thing about any new technology that we've ever had. It's taken jobs and it's created jobs. Like any new tech we've ever had in history has had this effect. So I don't know. I think you're a dummy for making that statement and also not, realizing that that's what happens through history.
In the end, if one of them does a bad job, we want to be able to blame somebody, and it's going to be one of the very big companies because there's a lot of interest in it. So the air traffic control system is going to be rebuilt. Over 1 million federal workers right now, as you know, are going unpaid. That's the Democrats' fault. And children, tourists, unable to visit the museums in Washington, D.C., that we now have beautiful, safe streets, but we don't have the museums open. We should probably just open them. But we are doing things that nobody's ever done, nobody's ever seen. So all of this and the pain that the Democrats have caused during this reckless and completely unnecessary affair, and you could call it the Schumer shutdown or the Democrat shutdown, you can call it whatever you want. And I will say this, that we have Darth Vader. You know Darth Vader, right? Darth Vader is a man who, I think you're sitting right. Is that Darth? Stand up, please, Darth Vader. Stand up. Does everybody know? They call him Darth Vader. I call him a fine man. But he's cutting Democrat priorities, and they're never going to get him back. And they've caused us, and they've really allowed us to do it. And by the way, thank you. You're doing a great job, I have to tell you. So, really a great job. Because many of the things that
But due to the government shutdown, the Democrats have handed Trump the ultimate opportunity to cut out bureaucracy, to cut out their favorite, honestly, to cut fundings to their favorite NGOs and to cut out their favorite Democratic staffers. So, hey, it's kind of crazy how these Dems thought this was going to work against Trump, but it's working out against him in every way. It's actually working for Trump in every way, shape, and form. He's able to cut out the deep state. He's getting good publicity in the press. I don't really know what else the Dems could do at this point, because y'all losing this position. So if y'all don't turn back on the government, if y'all don't vote on the CR bill, it's just going to get worse for you guys. And we're about to head into midterms.
they're cutting, like the New York project, $20 billion, we're cutting it. They're not going to get it back. They're not going to get a lot of things back. They may not get it back. Maybe we'll talk to them about it. But they're losing all the things that they wanted. But many of the things that they wanted are things that we don't want. The things that are just so bad for our country. And we're cutting those things out. So while they thought they were doing maybe bad, maybe indirectly they're doing good. The cynical comment that they've made all over the place, and all of their cynical remarks proves beyond all doubt that Schumer is a calculating political partisan, but we knew that. But he's somebody that's in deep trouble. He's losing in all of the polls. He's even losing to AOC +3. Remember +3?
Yeah.
What happened to the +3? Are they still around? I had one. I met when I was at the United Nations, I met the president of Somalia. And I said, I have somebody I'd like to give back to you. He said, no, thanks. We don't want her. He didn't want anything to do with her. But today.
Okay, yeah, it was Ilhan Omar, AOC, Jasmine Crockett. Those are like the big three. And well, I guess what Trump is calling them, the big three of the left, and they're all women, which is hilarious, by the way. But it is what it is. Look, man, the Dems don't let women take over, so have fun on that crash out.
I'm calling on every Senate Democrat to stop the madness, to let our country get back. in the greatest moment in the history of our country in terms of wealth, in terms of job creation, and in terms of investment coming in, these guys go on strike. It's really a shame. So I'm asking them to be smart. It's not working. They're getting killed in the polls. The public understands what they're doing. They're doing the wrong thing. And with that, I just want to say welcome to the White House. When we're finished, they do a great job. When they're finished, we're going to all come in. It'll be a little crowded, but that's okay. Into the Oval Office, we'll talk a little bit, couple of minutes. Got some interesting things. And I think I'd like to have, if I could, John, come up and say a few words, and we can close it out. And by the way, this is an open mic. It's open to the world. I think they can hear me out on the street. If anybody wants to come up and say after John, say it. We're all friends, and you can speak your heart out. But we've got to get our government open, and the Democrats are trying to keep it closed. Thank you. John, please.
Thank you, man. Thank you, sir. Well, Mr. President, thank you for having us. This is the 4th week of the Democrat shutdown, but we are all here today because your Republican team in the Senate is unified. This is now the longest.
And shout out to, she says the 3 Maranateers, maybe? I don't know, maybe. But hey, we got to come up for a number for the big 3, which is Ilhan Omar, Jasmine Crockett, and AOC. I mean, guys, that might be your president, vice president, and, well, Secretary of State one day, guys. You never know.
Full shutdown in history, but everybody here has voted now 11 different times to open up the government, and we are going to keep voting to open up the government, and eventually the Democrats, hopefully sooner or later, are going to come around.
Hopefully.
But Mr. President, your agenda is the right one for this
Hopefully,
country.
but unlikely. I mean, like I said, they're going to need pressure from their own base, and that's unlikely to happen. But all right, guys, let's get over into let's start over on the right side of media with our guy Ted Cruz on Fox. You know, the guy who says, I became a politician to serve Israel, which is highly sus, but it is what it is. And let's see, he said, what happens to the poor and middle class with AI? Didn't I just tell you? Did you not just listen to my rant, Bobby? Big dog Bobby. Come on, man. Come on, brother. I literally just said that if it takes away jobs and create new jobs for the middle class as well. I mean, you know, the middle class, I mean, okay, maybe you don't know this, but you know these data centers, right? Yeah, they pay like what? If I remember, that was it. Yeah, they have docks, they have factories, they have people who work in there for about $20 to $25 an hour. So yeah, I don't think you understand that. Yeah, these AI data plans also give jobs to middle class people as well. Not just your, I mean, what, 6 figures plus AI, you know, AI developers. No, they're not the only guys who are going to be working in these data centers. I mean, honestly, they got jobs working all the way down to entry level tech, dock work. I mean, shoot, even floor work. It's kind of crazy, but you got to understand the complexities of these data centers and sit there and be like, huh. So if we build more AI data centers, who does that give jobs to? Well, everybody across the board. I mean, if a factory's built, right, who does that give jobs to? Everybody across the board, because they need accountants. I mean, they need managers. They need tech guys. So, yeah, I mean, anytime a big facility is built, it gives jobs all across the board.
Senator Ted Cruz. So you were caught up in this, too. When did you find out? And when did you find out your phone company didn't give up the records?
Oh, man, shout out Chase. You got to have vision to see it, set. You can't teach vision. I mean, man, look, you can't teach vision when you're blinded by hate. You can't do it, dog. Just can't do it as much as you try. But shout out to my dog Chase and appreciate the support, guys. But yeah, that pretty much is my answer to you, Bobby. It's like, bro, do you not understand? It's across the board. It's across the board. But whoop, shout out to my man Fox Chase. He says, we have been buying Mexican beef for decades. We can start buying from Argentina instead. They have better beef too. I mean, hey, shout out to, hey, you know what? I like that. And it's gonna make our beef cheaper. But that's just because we're increasing the supply of beef. So hey, I'm all for it. It is what it is. And hey, according to my man Fox Chase, it's way better. So I'm all for it.
I found out the end of last week, and actually, Sean, you and I.
Go back.
Senator Ted Cruz. So you were caught up in this, too. When did you find out? And when did you find out your phone company didn't give up the records?
Well, I found out the end of last week, and actually, Sean, you and I had dinner together just over a week ago, and we were talking about the fact that Jack Smith and the Biden Department of Justice had subpoenaed 8 Republican senators and had gotten their phone records, had gotten their detailed phone records. And I joked at dinner with you, Sean. I said, I'm a little offended they left me out. What do I got to do to be a target of them coming after me? Well, it turns out. So they issued a subpoena, and you know, my cell phone company is AT&T, and AT&T, to their credit, said no, we're not going to hand this over. AT&T's based in Texas, and kudos to AT&T.
And a lot of people got to understand, like, it wasn't just Trump that Jack Smith was trying to investigate. I mean, it was like other Republican senators as well that they were trying to investigate. And be real with you, it was huge overreach. I'll just say it's a huge overreach.
It was the right
thing. I understand investigating Trump. I mean, okay, whatever, but trying to investigate other Republicans as well was, I mean, a wild overreach, especially when they had no reason to. Just that, all right, well, you know, they supported Trump a few times, so let's investigate all of them.
To say we're not giving you those cell phone records, but the Biden DOJ subpoenaed nearly 20% of the Republicans in the United States Senate, their phone records. This was a fishing expedition. It was an abuse of power. This was, and by the way, they launched Arctic Frost, this witch hunt. They launched it 3 days after Donald Trump launched his reelection campaign to be reelected to the presidency. This was all about politics. And Arctic Frost is, I think, the Biden Department of Justice's Watergate. It is pure weaponization going after their political opponents. And I think the Department of Justice, the Biden DOJ, needs to be held to account.
All right. What is your take on the meltdown of the left on the White House renovations? Not a taxpayer dime being spent. All these past presidents, and, you know, they've been involved in renovation projects at the White House. And you're telling the GOP to take the political part seriously as it relates to all of these protests over the weekend. And I want to know what you mean by that, because, and some people are comparing it to the Tea Party. You know, I did a show in Atlanta on April 15, 2010, and you know, we had 20, 25, 30,000 people show up at that event. There were moms and dads and people that had an agenda. They wanted less government intrusion, lower taxes, less regulation. I didn't exactly see a real agenda on display this weekend. I see a big difference. Yeah. Why do you think people should take it seriously?
Well, listen, there is no agenda in the Democrat Party today other than hatred for Donald Trump. And they are obsessed. They hate Donald Trump. I agree with you that these protests, they were not organic. They were paid for. They were bought and paid for. You and I talked about before.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and say all of these guys were bought and paid for. I remember me and Sid had this discussion. He's like, out of 7 million, how much you think is bought? I was like, about 1 million. Because there were groups around there that was, well, I mean, they didn't have their own signs. They already had pre-made signs. They already had the Palestinian flags all lined up and ready to go. And they were in the huddle talking about they need a press liaison. So, yeah, there were some paid protesters in there for sure. All of them? No, that's too many people. I mean, trust me, there's a lot of people who literally think that Trump is trying to be a king. So they don't need to pay people to think that. They just need to brainwash them.
How George Soros, there's real evidence that George Soros is paying for it. I talked about on my podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz. I laid out the receipts, how Soros's foundation has given over $3 million to Indivisible, one of the key organizers of these protests. I think in many ways they're AstroTurf. However, the warning that I'm announcing, listen, on the left, hatred is a powerful motivator, and there is an energized base on the left who hates Donald Trump, and people who are energized can show up to vote on Election Day, and I fear sometimes that on the right, people are a little too relaxed, a little too complacent. They feel like, okay, we're winning, things are great, and that can be a dangerous combination. Right now, you look at small donors. Democrats are outraising Republicans online 3-1 or more because their side is filled with rage. I think there are a lot more Americans who believe in common sense, who like a secure border, like our families being safe, like the economy coming back. Like, there is an incredible record of success to campaign on. But the warning that I'm putting out is we've got to make sure that we turn people out, because if we're complacent and sit on our laurels, that's how you lose the House or even potentially lose the Senate. We can't let that happen.
I mean, we got to come with that same energy that we came in 2024 with. We got to come with that Charlie Kirk energy of knocking on doors, out there speaking, and all that good stuff. Like, we got to hit them with that same energy. We got to outwork these guys, because right now, I mean, according to Ted Cruz, they're outworking us. They're outworking us in funding, and you know these guys love their funding, and you know George Soros is ready to line their pockets. And other globalist billionaires. We know this. So why are we letting them get ahead of us on this? Now, I'll be honest with you. No amount of money, honestly, I wanted to, honestly, no, I was about to say no amount of money can sell you a bad idea, but due to all the Dems in the chat and what I've been reading, I have to take that back. I'm gonna have to take that back. There isn't a good amount of money that can feed you a bad idea. Like, hey, if somebody give you $1 billion, bro, I'm telling you, some people will believe that committing crime is okay. I mean, if they give enough money to your favorite news company will make you believe that crossing the border is not a criminal offense. I mean, I wish I could sit there and say that, guys. I wish I could literally sit here and say that, you know what? If an idea is stupid enough, not even money can make you believe it. But, I mean, a lot of the Dems in the chat have proven me wrong.
Because the stakes are too high, and that means we got to make sure we turn people out.
I think it's a fair admonition. You can lose any election, and you can't take anything for granted. Is the government going to open anytime soon?
Who the heck knows, Sean? The amazing thing is the Democrats, for this shutdown, look, on one level, they forced a shutdown to have free taxpayer-provided health care for illegal aliens. But at another level, that's not even the heart of their ass. They know they're never going to get that. This shutdown is happening simply because Chuck Schumer is afraid of being primaried from the left. And the Democrats are all trying to show their crazy base. They hate Trump as much as the base does. And look, Schumer's afraid AOC is going to primary him, but it's not just Schumer. Just about every Democrat. We voted 11 times to reopen the government, and the Democrats are all voting to keep the government closed, and not just the crazy left. You look at John Ossoff, who's running for re-election in Georgia. He's the most vulnerable Democrat on the ballot next.
Bobby, okay, come on, bro. Now you're just doing anything to disagree at a certain point, bro. AI's data centers are a job creation bust. Look it up. No, it's not. Dog, it creates jobs as well, but you're literally just trying to disagree. Like, bro, you're wrong. Look, you made some ridiculous statements. I mean, you literally try to sit there and say that illegals aren't, undermining Americans. You was incredibly wrong on that one. Everybody was correcting you in the chat about that. I seen that even a lawyer came in and said, yeah, bro, I mean, they undermine us too. What are you talking about? So, I mean, bro, really, dog, Bobby, you can come on now. You don't really think like that. Like, come on now. It's almost anything. It's like anything to disagree at a certain point. Now AI centers, now that I've proved to you that multiple jobs are made within one data center, within even an AI one, and now you want to sit there and say, well, they're a job bust. Like, bro, like, you know what?
That shit is hard. Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Next year, he's voted 11 times to keep the government shut down because I guess us.
Oh, and shout out to my man Drum King. He says, gotta go. Have a great day, y'all, and God bless. Hey, man, shout out. Appreciate the support, my man. I'm going to shout you on this one. Good one, Drum King.
Calculus is he only cares about the crazy radicals on the left. And all across the country, the federal workers who are going to work and not getting paid.
Shout out to my man Fox. He says, good show set. And shout out to Tove. Sorry, guys, just catching up on these. A few different influencers have videos on a handful of protesters who have been seen at multiple different protests across USA for over a decade. Bro, it's almost like that one guy who said it was me, like at the Charlie Kirk assassination. Like, yeah, like did they track that guy to a bunch of protesters too? And that was weird. I mean, bro, career paid protester? Man, I mean, hey, bro, the yearly salary must be outrageous on that. I mean, bro, it better be $100K plus paid travel expenses, or it ain't worth it.
He doesn't care about them, the American citizens who are not getting the government, that the national parks and the Smithsonian and the museums. And look, on Friday, Sean, I went to Hobby Airport in Houston. I did a press conference. I pointed out 50,000 TSA agents are going to work right now and not being paid. 14,000 air traffic controllers are going to work and not being paid. And we're seeing delays. We're seeing stoppages. And the Democrats do not care. And the American people are paying the price.
I mean, bro, look, it's about F Trump. You got to understand. They don't care about the American people. It's all about F Trump. Like, you got to understand the agenda, Ted. If it's look, as long as it's F Trump, like their base is gonna get down with it. They don't care as long as they're going against Trump. That seems to be the message. Now the more sensible Dems are going like, yo, what the hell are you guys doing? But the radical left or the less sensible ones are going like, hey, yeah, F Trump. Who cares? Shut it down. Keep it shut down until they give us 1.5 trillion in spending in Medicaid.
Now, it's day 21 of Donald Trump's government shutdown.
Democrats chose to put the demands of far-left activists ahead of serving the American people.
It's Groundhog Day, and I'm just saying, and it's not entertaining. That's a great movie, but this is and, it's like now real damage is going to, or now.
See, a sensible Dem. This is a sensible, shout out Fetterman, man. That's a sensible Dem right there.
Touching the lives.
And the fact that this man, like, bro, have I ever seen this man in a suit? He always comes in with the hoodie. I mean, bro, just look like he just got off like shift at the factory or something. Like, bro, actually, he looks like your supervisor, to be quite honest. Like, that's who Fetterman looks like, a whole supervisor at a factory or a construction site.
Of regular Americans.
Who let you off early and let you take like an extra long 5-minute break.
It's day 21 of the government shutdown, and neither side of the aisle is bending. This as Senate Republicans meet with President Trump for a lunch in the newly renovated Rose Garden at the White House. We will dig into the funding fight with Florida Republican Congressman Brian Mast just ahead. But first to our Jackie Heinrich. She is live at that White House. And Jackie, you got some more details on that Trump-Putin meeting that was going to happen in Budapest, but now won't happen.
Yeah, that meeting is off. We were told it would happen likely within the next couple of weeks before the end of the month. And now, after the Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke to his Russian counterpart yesterday, those plans are canceled. The statement from a senior White House official said Secretary Rubio and Foreign Minister Lavrov had a productive call. Therefore, an additional in-person meeting between the Secretary and Foreign Minister is not necessary, and there are no plans for President Trump to meet with President Putin in the immediate future. Now, this might come as a surprise to the Kremlin because they described the call yesterday between Lavrov and Rubio as constructive regarding next steps to implement understanding.
Hey, shout out Tove, love Fetterman. I mean, yeah, I like him too. I'll be quite honest. Like, he is a sensible Dem. Of course, he disagrees with the Republicans on a lot, but he's a sensible Dem. He's not like all the way out there radical left. He's not paid out by Big Pharma and the other corporations. But I'm gonna be real with you. A lot of the radical left is paid off by, well, not radical left, but a lot of the Democrats, like Elizabeth Warren, is paid off by Big Pharma and, healthcare corporations. And that's why they want an over-bloated, healthcare bill. So, these corporations can overprice it and take advantage of that. I mean, that's why these guys want increase in healthcare spending. It's not for you American people, but it's for the corporations, for their corporate, their corporate bosses. It's not about you giving you guys healthcare. It's about letting these corporations overprice us. Remember that.
Things that were reached between Trump and Putin. Quite a different readout that we got from the State Department. So we are awaiting reaction from Russia on this. Meantime, to the shutdown, we just heard from the Senate Majority Leader John Thune here at the White House Rose Garden Club lunch. The president has called on Democrats to reopen the government, turn the lights back on, and then they can talk about an extension for the Obamacare subsidies. But he has called Democrats obstructionists. Listen here.
Unfortunately, in a craven and pointless act of partisan spite, Chuck Schumer, who I've known for a long time, and the radical left Democrats are holding the entire federal government hostage to appease the extremists in their party. And they are extreme. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
Schumer put it this way this morning.
Senate Republicans, they're headed to the White House today, not for negotiations, not to work on any path out of a shutdown or to avert a health care crisis, but for a Rose Garden pep rally with Donald Trump.
I mean, it was a nice little pep rally. He made a good speech, made a couple jokes. Everybody was happy.
So Republicans are willing again to discuss an extension of the Obamacare subsidies. House Speaker Mike Johnson said the president's read in on all the details. He said he met with him in the Oval Office for 2 hours last night, and they went over these things. There are a few proposals floating around, of course. There's a group of centrist Republicans who have proposed extending the subsidies as is for a year. But there are other members, Republican members, especially in the Senate, who say, look, we want to do something, but we probably need to change, modify the subsidies to come under the COVID era expanded level, which they say shows the Affordable Care Act is not so affordable after all. So in sum, not much has changed. No clear sign the government's going to reopen anytime soon. John.
All right, Jackie Heinrich with preview from 1600 Pennsylvania. Jackie, thanks so much. Let's bring in Florida Republican Congressman Brian Mast for more on this. I always like to find personal anecdotes when we're talking about government work here. Took my wife to the eye doctor yesterday. That doctor has got a lot of patients who are government employees. And he said to me yesterday, he said, a lot of people are really worried. They're scared. They don't know how they're going to make ends meet because they're going without paychecks now, and they don't know how to put food on the table. So what would you say to those folks?
I'd say rightfully they should be scared because you have Democrats that are, the president laid out the case for almost an hour. They're not interested in victories for Americans. They're not interested in a bill in the House of Representatives that would not open the government, but just make sure that these people that have been working get their paychecks. They're not interested in a bill that says, hey, you're a member of the military. Let's just make sure that the military gets paid in the name of national defense.
I mean, let's be real, because they still get paid. Look, if I would say this, let's say their endorsements got paused if the government shut down. I guarantee you the senators be working overtime on both sides. If their payments got stalled, even if their salary got stalled, I guarantee you they'd be working overtime. But since it ain't them, they kind of slow walking it.
Interested in paying on the American people because they think, as Schumer said, that it makes every day better for the Democrats. So they should be frightened of that.
All right. So how long would you say to those folks who are getting scared that this is going to go on?
I think you look at the Democrat Party and they're not putting down the shovel, they're continuing to dig their own grave on this. They're doubling and tripling down on the fact that, you know what, even if you guarantee us a vote on Obamacare subsidies, no, that's not good enough. We're still not going to reopen the government. They keep doubling down on these things. And you guys have laid out the case of very real threats for days. You know, FAA is one of the easiest examples. I think the president pointed to that one as well. If you have the same number of flights, but less air traffic controllers working in the towers, that's a very real physical threat for anybody traveling in aviation. What are they waiting for? 2 planes to collide? These are real things that they're not willing to pay attention to.
And the radical right is paid off by Israel, which is true. I mean, that is true. Be real with you. Like our radical right, the warmongers and all that good stuff, the neoconservatives. Yeah, I mean, definitely paid off by Israel. There are no arguments on that. No arguments on that at all. Like Lord Loomer, Mark Levin. Who else we got over there on that radical right?
Strictly in the name of what they think is political victory for them.
All right, so Republicans keep pointing to
John Bolton.
The provision in the Democrats' continuing resolution to repeal Section 2141, the big, beautiful bill, which would provide some monies for illegal aliens for health care.
I agree. Hey, look, Bobby, we can agree on something. Hey, I love it. I love it.
Crux of the issue appears to be, at least from where I'm standing, is this idea of the Obamacare enhanced tax credits and extending those. There seems to be bipartisan support for that. The president even says that he'd think about it. John Thune, as you point out, has offered a vote on that if Democrats vote to reopen the government. Why not just put an extension in the CR, leave everything else that the Democrats want out of it, vote on it, and get the government back open again? I mean, if everybody's talking about extending these tax credits, why not just do it?
It's a very real possibility. And I think that it could come to that point. But what you have legislatively right now is Republicans never voted for the original Obamacare tax subsidies or subsidies. Republicans never voted for the expanded subsidies during the COVID-19 era. And so you have a real opportunity for us to sit at the table and say, listen, should somebody that's making less than $60,000, should they get $5,000 in subsidies, but the guy making $61,000, he's going to pay the subsidies for the guy making $60,000? That doesn't make sense. It's not fair across the board. Let's look at all of this because we know Obamacare is unaffordable. We know it's costing these people on this side big time. It's costing everybody, in terms of their unusable health care because they can't even pay beyond the premiums. They can't pay to actually use the care. So let's have a real debate about this and get to a place that it actually works for Americans. But again, they're not interested in the victories.
I mean, the problem is they got too much pride in Obamacare. They want to continue a failing plan. That's the problem with the Dems. I mean, the Republicans, that's why they don't want to make it permanent. They want to give it that 1-year extension because, I mean, yeah, you're right. Premiums would raise. But guess what? Even with the extension, premiums are still going to go up 5 to 10%. So it's almost like you damn near lied to the American people on saying that, oh, well, if this is not passed, your premiums will raise. They're going to go up anyway. And then what? Then you're going to blame Donald Trump for that too, huh? Even though there are Obamacare healthcare subsidies that was enhanced under Biden. You'll blame Trump, won't y'all?
For Americans, not on Obamacare subsidies, not on keeping dollars from going towards feminism in Africa or LGBTQI in the Balkans, not on any of these fronts.
But yeah, there does need to be a replacement for Obamacare, and it does need to be discussed because I have not heard Trump really discuss a new plan for healthcare. I do believe that's going to have to be discussed among his, guys like RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz and all that good stuff. But I don't know. We'll wait to see what they come out with, but we do need something new. And I think both sides can agree on that because Obamacare is obviously failing and prices are only going up. And I mean, you can't even blame Trump for that. You can't.
It's not on healthcare for illegals.
Well, that's why I mentioned why not just put the tax credits into the CR and take a vote on that. But here's the problem. I got to do this real quickly if I could. Is in 11 days, open enrollment starts. And that's when people, even in red states, many of them in red states, are going to see their premiums increase. You're running out of time.
Let's make two timely points real quick. One, you make the point on 11 days these subsidies run out, so that has to be addressed. Absolutely, we need to debate it. The other thing, this CR that the Senate keeps voting on, it ends on November 21st.
Yeah. Now, all right, guys, let's go ahead and get into the left-sided media on CNN, and let's see what they got to say about the government shutdown so far. With Caitlin Collins.
Tonight, as top Democrats are pushing to sit down with President Trump on day 21 of the government shutdown, as you just heard with Senator Klobuchar, the president told me today in the Oval Office that he's willing to meet with Senator Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries over in the House, but he said there is one major condition.
Senator Schumer said he reached out to you about meeting on the government shutdown. Will you meet with him before you leave for Asia on Friday?
Well, I will actually. I'd love to meet with them. I just want them to open up the country first. The country is so hot right now, and they've never voted against, continuation. They've never voted against. They've never done that. They're doing this because they have Trump derangement syndrome. But I would love to meet. I would like to meet with both of them, but. I set one little caveat. I will only meet if they let the country open. They have to let the country open.
Just to be clear, you won't meet with them until
AKA, well, take away your leverage or take away you holding the American people hostage so we can actually negotiate about healthcare and how to create a better system. I mean, freezing the government or shutting down the government is not really helping you guys out. So how about this? Reopen the government, we could talk. If not, then we won't talk about anything. And we'll see how long this lasts. And I mean, hey, that sounds like Trump is the person to do that. It's like I said, it's kind of one of those situations where...
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
So let's see how far he takes it.
the government's open.
The government has to be open, yeah. You know how long it would take for them to do that? Just say, okay, government's open, that's it.
Joining me tonight, Republican Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota. Do you agree that the president should not meet with Democrats until the government is open, or would it be more helpful, since we are 21 days into this, for him to get in a room with Senator Chuck Schumer?
I totally agree with the president. He absolutely cannot meet with the Democrats until they quit holding the shutdown in abeyance. They have to eliminate the shutdown, and then the president is more than willing to come in and sit down and visit. Republican leadership, both sides are ready to sit down and to work on the issues that we all care about. But you can't do it when you're holding the government hostage, when you're holding people hostage. Did you know that we're actually losing 43,000 jobs a month, $15 billion in GDP while the government is shut down? If these Democrats actually cared about that, they wouldn't be doing it the way they are right now. They would end the shutdown and they would take a very serious look at what it's going to take to pass appropriation bills and to start talking about how we fix health care in America today.
Senator Klobuchar said that there are Senate Republicans that recognize something has to be done about the health care subsidies. It affects a lot of their constituents as well, who are going to see bigger premiums. If you're going to come to an agreement with them on that, is it not helpful to talk about that, to offer them assurances, if that's their primary demand in the government shutdown?
There are several items that have to be discussed, and I won't try to go into it today. We've been talking privately for a long time about it. But number one, even if these subsidies that came in, the COVID subsidies as we call them, or the subsidies that President Biden authorized, even if those were put back in the way they are, with all of the corruption and all the fraud that was still included in it, and Democrats admit that there was fraud that needs to be fixed in it. But even if we left it all alone and just redid it, you could probably change the premiums that are going to go up by maybe 5%. It's going to go up between 16 and 30% this next year, regardless of what Congress does.
Damn. Damn. So like I'm saying, they're arguing for no reason. He's pretty much saying it's going to go up 15, 30% regardless. Regardless if you guys get the Obamacare healthcare subsidies, regardless if it's extended or made permanent, it's still going to go up by 15 to 30%. So like I said, they pretty much lied to you guys, saying that, oh, well, your premiums will go up if we don't pass it. Well, guess what? They're still going to go up, even if we do pass it. And they won't even take accountability for it, because guess what? Their base won't sit there and go like, yo, you guys held up the government saying that we need these healthcare subsidies to keep our premiums from going up. Okay, cool. We did all that. We got it extended, but our premiums are still going up. Like, what's going on with that? I hope people on the left actually has that type of, I don't know, like, common sense.
And part of it's because Obamacare has never worked correctly. It's always needed subsidies. And that's the reason why when they put it in the first place, there were subsidies included in it. And secondly, they put additional subsidies in at the time that the COVID crisis hit. And now it's Democrats that set the time in which it would expire. They set it up for December of 25 for those credits to expire. And now they're telling us, and they're suggesting to the American people, that it's our fault that their subsidies are expiring right now. They could have put it in permanently.
Yeah, their Obama healthcare subsidies and the enhanced ones that was placed under Biden, that they're not working, that healthcare premium costs are still going to go up, regardless if they're put into there, regardless if they're continued. So, yeah, how is it the Republicans' fault? When, you know, this whole healthcare plan, this whole Obamacare thing was, well, y'all idea?
If they would have wanted to, when they did reconciliation, they decided not to do that.
Yeah, well, that was the same argument that Democrats were making when Republicans wanted to extend the tax cuts, to be fair. They were saying, well, they put this deadline in place, and now Republicans were saying, well, if we don't extend this, it's going to be a tax hike. But on that, there are 54,000 enrollees in the ACA marketplace in your home state.
And there's 18,000 of them that are going to be dramatically impacted by this.
So what do you say to them if nothing's done and their premiums do double?
Even if we do the enhanced subsidies, their premiums are already going to go up probably 18 to 24%.
But they may say, I'd rather have 18% than double.
I don't disagree. But
okay,
in order to do that,
but you got to remember the Dems' main argument that they said that that the healthcare subsidies weren't going to go up if the Republicans allowed it to be permanent or extended. So what was Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer saying? Like, they basically lied to the American people right to their face, saying that, oh, well, your healthcare premium won't go up if, you know, we get these healthcare subsidies passed through. But even with this man saying right here that it's going to go up regardless. Like, they're not there, then sure, they'll go up by double. But even if we put these through, they're still going to go up by like what? He said, what is it, 18 to 30%? And then let's be real, the Dems won't blame the Democrats for that. They'll just sit there and try to point fingers at the Republicans saying that we're destroying healthcare, and that's why their healthcare premiums went up, when we're like, Obamacare, Obama healthcare subsidies, and the enhanced ones under Biden. I mean, you guys can't take no accountability.
we are more than willing to work with them, but not when the government is shut down. You can't take a hostage and then expect the other side to simply say, oh, you're taking a hostage, you shut down government, you're costing 43,000 jobs a month. And then to say, well, I guess you're just going to have to win this and we're going to let you do it. No, the answer is open government now. Let's get back to doing the business of the people. And with regard to the ACA, let's try to do something to actually fix some of the reasons why it continues to explode in price ever since it was incepted.
But it sounds like you would not vote for just a one-year extension of the subsidies.
I
Is
thought
that right?
originally, when we had some time, we could find a way to make some modifications to the existing subsidies that are in place. Number one, the fraud has got to go away. And Democrats tell us that they agree with us on that. We know that there's literally billions of dollars in fraud. We've already got the criminal cases going
Look,
on.
man, there's fraud all through our healthcare system that we're trying to cut. Well, at least the Republicans are trying to. The Dems is trying to keep it. They want to keep the fraud and waste going. The Republicans are trying to cut it.
Second of all, we've got to make it very clear that taxpayer dollars are not going to fund abortion services, regardless of it, it's in a state that it's legal in or illegal.
Okay, so that's a red line for you.
Congratulations, Congress. This current government shutdown has officially tied the record for the second longest in U.S. history.
Woo.
Awesome. 21 days of stalled government work, missed paychecks, mass firings, air traffic control shortages.
Good
Moments ago,
times.
President Trump said he would, quote, love to meet with Democrats with a pretty important caveat. They need to first open the government. Joining us now, Democrat from Illinois, Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi. Congressman, a group of 13 centrist Republicans sent a letter to Speaker Johnson urging him to, quote, immediately turn our focus to health care costs as soon as the shutdown's over. The group was clear, though, end the shutdown, then negotiate with Democrats on the Obamacare premiums, basically in line with what Trump was just saying. Is there any appeal to that at all, if there's a commitment to talk about these Obamacare premiums?
No, let's just do it right now. Trump can easily end the shutdown in like 30 minutes by agreeing to Obamacare tax credit extensions. Next Monday, Jake, millions of people are about to receive notices in the prelude to open enrollment on November 1st, showing that their premiums are going to spike by 200% and 300% in some cases. 4 million people are about to lose their health insurance as a consequence within the next year. And 22 million Americans are going to see their health care premiums increase. And so we want to take that off the table right now and just extend those Obamacare tax credits so that we can avoid these healthcare costs skyrocketing very shortly.
Take a listen to your fellow Democrat, Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman.
It's Groundhog Day. You know, and I'm just saying, and it's not entertaining. That's a great movie, but this is shitty. And it's like now real damage is going to are now touching the lives of regular Americans.
I mean, Fetterman has a point, right? This is affecting regular Americans, and Democrats are playing a role in the shutdown by refusing to vote for the continuing resolution to let the government open for just a few more weeks.
Man, it seems like even like CNN is turning against these guys. That's the funniest part about this. Even CNN is going like, all right, guys, Dems, look, bro, we can't even really defend you guys. Like, y'all got to just open up the government because apparently you guys are losing the narrative that this is all Trump's fault. Apparently.
I think the problem, Jake, is that the status quo is not working for anybody. It is completely unacceptable. Here in Illinois, for instance, not only are we dealing with these skyrocketing healthcare costs about to happen, but also, for that matter, ICE is out of control and raids on communities throughout the area. The National Guard is literally staged just half an hour away from where I'm sitting right now. And so people don't like the status quo. At a minimum, what they're saying is this, which is take the Obamacare issue off the table because those tax credits are about to expire imminently. And they don't want to see they don't want to see skyrocketing healthcare costs in addition to the increasing food costs, electricity costs, and housing costs that they're already seeing in this Trump economy.
Interesting that he said that. All right, let's get up to Hannity.
Nightmare so serious it is causing panic and anger and feelings of helplessness among Democrats. But we begin with the latest source of hysteria on the left tonight, a nightmare so serious it is causing panic and anger and feelings of helplessness among Democrats and their friends in the legacy media mob. In fact, it is so dire that I'm calling on all of our loyal viewers to offer support to their far left loved ones and friends and neighbors and coworkers. And if you are a Democrat watching tonight, you might want to sit down for what I am about to show you. Take a look.
You probably hear the beautiful sound of construction to the back. You hear that sound? Oh, that's music to my ears. I love that sound. Other people don't like it. I love it, Josh.
Bro.
I think when I hear that sound, it
Hey, now he's really rubbing in this ballroom.
reminds me of money. In this case, it reminds me of lack of money because I'm paying for it. So it's the opposite. But it's going to be one of the most beautiful ballrooms anywhere in the world.
Oh, the horror. President Trump is now remodeling the east wing of the White House and building one big, beautiful new ballroom, all paid for by himself and private donations, which is apparently a mortal sin in the eyes of the crazy left in this country. Take a look at this.
Looks nice.
You don't own that building. That is the people's building. You don't own it.
I mean, and the people's building is getting a golden, white golden ballroom. Hey, shout out. Now we got a white golden ballroom at the White House. I'm okay with it.
It is corruption at its core. And I heard someone say this when I was backstage. It could not be, there's no greater metaphor right now than what's happening right now in this country than watching Donald Trump take a wrecking ball to the White House.
It's hard to believe that any president could destroy the White House and take a wrecking ball to an existing structure so historic.
Painful. I mean, this is historic structure.
It's history being torn to shreds.
Surprise! Donald Trump is literally destroying the people's house because apparently he thinks it's his house and not ours, and I'm guessing he has no intention of moving out of it ever.
The fake
Well.
he's never going to leave. We got more hysteria on on X from Gavin Newsom.
So what? Is Trump destroying the symbol of our democracy? It's like, come on, guys. Really? The man is redecorating. The man is rebuilding some things. He's making the White House better. He's making improvements to it. Get over yourselves. It's not that serious.
He posted the following quote, ripping apart the White House just like he's ripping apart the Constitution.
I mean, Gavin Newsom. Shout out, Gavin. You can always expect him to come out of nowhere with the wild tweet, ripping apart the White House just like he's ripping apart the Constitution. I mean, beautifully said, Gavin. Beautifully said. Tove, appreciate the support, sis. Almost every year, almost every single president has updated or remodeled the White House. They have been wanting a ballroom for decades. I mean, yeah, they have, but Trump's the one who's implementing it now. It's a bad idea, it's a bad thing, and they're crying about it. Makes no sense. Makes no sense at all.
Pretty rich coming from a guy.
I mean, shoot. I mean, they were trying to get a Gaza peace plan done for decades. Trump gets it done, and everybody want to poke holes in it. It is what it is. Well, to be fair, Israel want to poke holes in it.
Who signed off on a massive $1.1 billion expansion of the state's historic Capitol building. Maybe out in California, maybe fix your fire hydrants, make sure they have water, fill your reservoirs, make sure they have water, lower taxes, and stop spending billions of taxpayer dollars on illegal immigrants. Just an idea.
That'd be nice.
That $1.1 billion is roughly the same amount as a new NFL stadium, and it's being funded entirely by California taxpayers. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton also
I know there's never no complaints why the new office building for California lawmakers costing as much as an NFL stadium. But y'all want to complain about Trump, who's getting private donations. Yes, this is being, we're not paying for the ballroom. This is being privately donated, okay? Private donations are being made to this, not taxpayer money.
It's being funded entirely by California taxpayers. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton also chiming in. She just can't help herself. On X, the 2016 loser declared it's not his house. It's your house. He's destroying it. Actually, Hillary, he is adding a ballroom to a wing of the White House.
Oh, God. It's like, all right, Hillary, on that logic, if it's my house too, right? Shout out to me as an American and to y'all as well. All right, if it's our house, then I mean, why wouldn't I want a ballroom installed in there? I mean, like, what? Do y'all hear yourselves? Oh, yeah, it's your house too. Okay, cool. So why wouldn't I want a ballroom installed in my house? Why would I want a gold and white ballroom installed in my house? Can you please explain me why I wouldn't want that?
Actually, Hillary, he is adding a ballroom to a wing of the White House that was constructed in the 1900s. But just as a reminder, this is how Bill and Hillary honored the White House. Remember, putting aside Bill's little incident with that White House intern off the Oval Office.
I mean, let's be real. Bill Clinton getting a head in the Oval Office is legendary. Okay, it's legendary. Nobody's really mad about Bill Clinton for that. Okay, he did some good things during his presidency. He stabilized the budget. I mean, well, he balanced the budget, and he got head in the Oval Office. I mean, that was pretty bad. Hey, that's pretty kick ass. I'm not even gonna lie. Of course, all the perverted things he done on the side is, condemnable. We're gonna condemn that. And of course, getting head in the Oval Office is condemnable. But at the time, and even honestly, fuck it, even now, it's kind of cool that he got that off.
Let's not forget they essentially auctioned off nights to sleep in the Lincoln.
I mean, guys, I'm talking to the guys. Let's be real, guys. Wouldn't you do it?
Bedroom to top dollar donors. These same donors were still writing checks to Hillary in 2015. And when Bill and Hillary departed the White House for good, yeah, they took furniture that they had to return because it didn't belong to them. So, Hillary, spare us the lectures on the sanctity of the White House. And maybe next time you might want to think before you go on X. And to everyone on the left now weeping about White House renovations, okay, time for a Hannity history lesson. Since 1902, there have been at least 14 major renovations or additions completed by various.
Damn, I mean, going all the way back. But shout out Chase. Like, they just mad he's doing everything they wanted. I know, right? Like the Gaza peace deal that they're trying to say, oh, he actually took that from Biden. That was Biden's plan, but he didn't implement it at all. I mean, well, guys, doesn't that just go to prove that you guys are kind of incompetent when it comes to leadership? You don't implement anything, but you had all the complaints in the world, though. I mean, come on. And I'm not saying that Biden didn't do anything in office. Now, in my opinion, he didn't do too much good in office, but hey, that's just my opinion.
Presidents, let's run through them, shall we?
Damn. All right. President Roosevelt built the West Wing, 1902.
Teddy Roosevelt built the West Wing at the turn of the 20th century while tearing down Thomas Jefferson's greenhouses. In 1909, President William Howard Taft, he added the first Oval Office to the West Wing. It was 1927, Calvin Coolidge, he conducted a major renovation of the upper floors of the White House.
And shout out Bobby. Trump promised to drain the swamp, but somehow they all moved in after the election. I mean, should we drain the swamp right now during this government shutdown? He's firing all, the bureaucrats that like to slow roll policies. So, he's cutting the swamp. He's getting to it now that the Dems gave him the perfect opportunity. And are there still some people in the swamp that's in his cabinet? I mean, we can agree on that one. We can agree to that. I'll be real with you, Bobby. There's some guys who are still in the swamp. Some. I'm not going to say the whole administration got people in the swamp in them, but there is some guys in there that are questionable.
1929, Hoover completed.
Oh, and shout out Tove. She said, she sent the website. Tove, it lists every major innovation. Oh, wow. So shout out Tove for this website that lists every major innovation done to the White House. And shout out to my man Hannity for go ahead and breaking it down as well. So, hey, shout out Tove.
Renovation of the upper floors of the White House. 1929, Hoover completely remodeled the West Wing. And just 5 years later, FDR remodeled the West Wing yet again, even adding a second floor and a swimming pool indoors. And by the way, FDR in 1942, he built out the East Wing, which is now being remodeled by President Trump. In 1948, Truman stripped the interior of the White House, preserving only exterior walls. 1970, Richard Nixon converted the swimming pool into a modern-day press briefing room. Take a look.
This is, as you see over here, the Presidential Walk of Fame. And we had this long wall with half windows because that used to be a swimming pool on the other side of the wall. That was the swimming pool where Jackie would say, I hear women inside. Are women inside?
It's kind of crazy. Like, this man literally does what almost every other president has done before him, yet he's unconstitutional. I mean, man, basically we've been unconstitutional since the beginning, guys, if that's the case.
Quite a famous, I'm not saying anything, this was a part of a movie. And the Secret Service said, no, ma'am, there's no women inside, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am, you're going to have to move along. But I hear women inside. No, ma'am, you'll have to move along, ma'am. So that was the famous swimming pool. Now it's even worse. It's for the media. They covered the pool up.
All right, you would think the press pool would actually realize that president after president, they have renovated, they have changed, they have upgraded the White House. This includes major changes under both Clinton and Obama. Now, the Trump-induced anger and rage on the left is beyond idiotic, and whether Democrats like it or not, one big, beautiful new ballroom paid for by the president himself and private donations will soon host major historic events for decades to come without spending one taxpayer penny. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
And all right, now let's go ahead and get into the left side of media real quick, because this was wild. Whoops, let me see here. What was it? Yeah, here it is. Pardon Capitol rioter charged with attempting to kill Hakeem Jeffries. Now, I'm just going to say that out the bat. I condemn it. I do not approve of it. I don't know who this guy is, but hey, he ain't rocking with us over here on MAGA. He's extreme. We don't like him. We don't want nothing to happen to Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer, any Dem. And if any hair is touched on their head, we will be upset about it. I don't care if it's AOC. I don't care if it's Jasmine Crockett. I don't even care if it's Ilhan Omar. If any one of them is hurt, I'm going to be upset. All right, then. Like I said, we can grill them and disagree with them all day, but if they get hurt, I will be upset as an American. What can I say? I get upset when you touch my own, even if they don't consider me their own.
A January 6th rioter who received one of the president's pardons
Gotta
is
take the
now
high road
charged
sometimes.
with allegedly threatening to kill Hakeem Jeffries. Authorities say Christopher Moynihan, seen here in the Senate chamber during the attack, sent text messages to an anonymous source that said, quote, Hakeem Jeffries makes a speech in a few days in New York City. I can't allow this terrorist to live. Even if I'm hated, he must be eliminated. And I will kill him for the future. That anonymous person then tipped off the FBI. In a statement, the House Minority Leader criticized the blanket.
I mean, shout out that guy who tipped off the FBI. And here's the thing, though. Most likely, the guy he said this to was most likely a right winger. So then basically another right winger snitching on him, going like, "Yo, I'm sorry, but yo, I may disagree with Hakeem Jeffries too, bro, but killing him, nah, dog, bro, nah, don't kill him now. That's not cool. I mean, isn't bro like a father or something? Like, yo, chill it out with that." So yeah. It was probably most like another right winger that he sent this to, because like, let's be honest, why would he send this to a leftist thinking that he's not going to get snitched on? So yeah, it was most like another right winger who snitched on him, which thank God. But it is wild that he even stated this. I mean, what have Hakeem Jeffries really done to deserve a death threat? The man ain't really did nothing but just what? I mean, grandstand and shut the government down? Like, he don't deserve to die for that. I mean, there's been other people who've done worse.
Then tipped off the FBI. In a statement, the House Minority Leader criticized the blanket pardon that Trump gave to the January 6th defendants and said acts of violence will not stop.
And shout out my man Big Wave Dave. He says, unfortunately, these sheeple let the media manipulate how they think. So, of course, people complain about what Trump does. Yeah, no, even if there's been multiple times in history where it's been done before. And nobody say anything about it. None. Not a word. Not a word.
Us from showing up, standing up. In a statement, the House Minority Leader criticized the blanket pardon that Trump gave to the January 6th defendants and said acts of violence will not stop us from showing up, standing up, and speaking up for the American people.
And it should.
First of all, this is scary. But second of all, it's, I don't know. I mean,
oh, it's scary now. Oh, now that the shoe's on the other foot, you scared? Oh, that's funny. That's real funny how y'all like to play that victim role real quick. But no, I get it, though. I get it. Hey, I kind of feel for them. Like I said, now y'all know how it feels when there's people putting out text messages talking about wanting to kill y'all. Like, it is pretty damn disturbing. But here's the thing, though. I'm ready to condemn that guy right now. But is y'all ready to condemn Jay Jones? Is y'all ready to tell Jim Jones to step down for saying he would shoot a Republican's wife and children? Like, are y'all ready for that? All right, then. If y'all ain't ready to have that conversation, then, I mean, let's be real. Y'all kind of don't really deserve to freak out about this too much, to be honest with you. If y'all not wanting to condemn Jay Jones for saying he want to shoot kids, then, I mean, let's be honest. You have no right to talk about this writer who want to shoot Hakeem Jeffries. Actually, I'll talk about it. And I'll just say, look, we condemn him. We don't rock with him. That's not how MAGA thinks. And we hope that man gets sent to jail.
I think it's a natural consequence.
And take that MAGA hat off him, too, if he's wearing one.
Of pardoning people in a blanket fashion, just period, the
Strip
end,
it off.
regardless of what they were accused of doing.
Well, first, this is absolutely horrific and disgusting, and I'm so grateful that the FBI is as impressive as they are and was able to capture this.
And I like how everybody in the chat's on the same deal. Like, all right, bro, we can put a sombrero on the man and give him a mustache, but killing, bro, is crazy. Like, nah. I want Hakeem Jeffries alive so we can make fun of him more. I'll be very sad if Hakeem Jeffrey died. Sad for his family, friends, and then once again, because no more memes. I would be very disappointed. But shout out Hellbat. He says, and yet we still decide to prevent it while they allow for it to happen, even promote it. Fuck these people. I know it's kind of crazy. Like, because as soon as I heard it, I'm like, dog, I'm not going to defend this like at all. Like, there is no defense of this man. But it's kind of crazy that shoe on the other foot, and these guys will be like, well, this is what happens when you take away health care and ICE is kicking in doors and all this, and they don't want to stop gun laws. And I'm like, well, they don't want to have gun laws and all this. It's like, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what happens. They find a way to kind of circle away or kind of skirt, accountability. Like I said, man, when Jane Jones stepped down, that's when we will believe the left actually condemns political violence.
There was a man named Alton Mills who Barack Obama pardoned, who was a violent criminal and went on to murder somebody else. No one here knows his name because the reality is we can't be held responsible for what he did after that. This is disgusting, but I think to take a bigger look at what's going on, there is in fact one party that frequently releases violent criminals and puts them back on the street, and that is the Democratic Party, who's soft on crime. There was a man, DeCarlos Brown, who was arrested 14 times and went on to murder someone. So I think that is a bigger problem that Americans are facing today. And as for Hakeem Jeffries, absolutely disgusting that somebody wanted to target him. And I'm so grateful that the FBI discovered that plot.
So a few weeks ago, rhetoric was the issue and was the source of political violence on the left. Now here's a man who was pardoned.
Oh, shout out Bobby. He said thoughts on the GOP chat leaks. What was it? Are you talking about the young Republicans, right? The young Republicans, what was it? Like the leader of the chapters going back. One said, I love Hitler. One guy asked him, hey, you going to watch the NBA? No, I'm not going to watch Monkey Ball. Yeah. Yeah, my thoughts on that is F those guys. Those guys don't even represent a majority of MAGA. I mean, that's the problem. They don't represent a majority of MAGA. And if you've seen these guys' pictures, you would understand that they're just losers who like to hate. And I mean, we got them on our side and y'all got them on your side for sure. So look, man, it's like, I'm going to sit there and condemn that too. I mean, dog, they call the NBA monkey ball. Like, what? You think, what? Am I just supposed to be, okay, that's all right because they're Republicans? Like, that sounds, bro, that's ridiculous. Well, all right, but let's get back into it.
By this president for a violent act who then threatens a member of Congress, congressional leadership. And
now, if you guys think that MAGA is majority racist, then you don't know MAGA. Honestly, you don't know majority of people then, because majority of people are racist. And MAGA, now, if you want to vote, if you want to say that everybody who voted for Trump, right, is MAGA, let's assume that. You're saying 77 million people are racist in America. All of them are just racist? I mean, bro, it don't make no sense. And let's be real. Racism is a very few people. Very few people are racist. Not all white people are racist. No. Not everybody's against the black community. No. So you guys who actually think that, y'all are really delusional. If you guys think that what those young Republicans think a majority of the conservative or the Republican Party, I mean, you're delusional. Because I mean, we could say the same thing about y'all, how all you guys are just want to kill us, but we don't. We're reasonable. You guys are not. Obviously. Look at this. I could sit here and say that, oh, that's all you guys want to do is kill us and kill our families because you just hate how we think and all that. I could spin the same thing on you guys, but I don't. Like, why don't y'all have the same level of maturity at a certain point that I do and just be like, all right, yeah, bro, we understand that those guys don't represent all of MAGA, just like Jay Jones does not represent all of the left. I mean, where's the fairness?
And it's no big deal.
Oh yeah, and shout out to not Jay Jones, FJ Jones. But shout out to Hellbat. He says you stopping at just Jay Jones. I'd include Twitch, Reddit, and everything else. No mercy. Get fined and get jailed. Whew. Well, damn. Oh yeah, Hellbat said nah. If y'all go too far, man, he's like nah. He don't need to just step down. We need to hit him with the.
Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
But all right.
It is a big deal. Absolutely. It's a huge deal. The plot was foiled. And
Right, but
thankfully
I guess what
everyone
I'm
is
saying
safe.
I thought we just had this whole national conversation
Bro,
about.
I ain't gonna lie. It's the height of arrogance to assume that you just know a whole group of people that you refuse to engage with. Can you imagine that? Thinking that you just know a group of people that you literally refuse to engage with on a personal level just because of their politics. That you just assume that the race is off of who they voted for. I mean, dog, it's just the height of arrogance at a certain point. It's like, oh man, y'all just think y'all know everything and everybody. And some of y'all ain't never even left y'all city or state.
Rhetoric, which, by the way, I don't want to endorse that, but I'm just saying, especially on the right, that was the conversation, was that rhetoric was leading to violence. But now all of a sudden it's like, well, this is just what happens when you let people out of prison. It's just part
It's
of
not what happens, and that's why
what
we're
happened.
opposed to the soft on crime policies. Look, I'm not going to get into the pardons, whether that was a good thing or not, but it's happened.
I mean,
and
why
we can
not?
only
Why
move
can't we get into
forward
the pardons and whether it
make
was
sure
good or
that the
not?
people who are dangerous criminals
But
are
isn't
off
that the issue?
streets.
Isn't the issue in part whether the pardons were good or not? You mentioned, we're talking about this guy, but there were several
Well,
other.
would I have to say this? We wouldn't really have to worry about pardoning these guys. You guys gave the January 6ers their due process. And I mean, you wasn't trying to strong arm them. I mean, with honestly, very deceptive prosecution strategies. I'll be real with y'all. That was wild. But yeah, I mean, Trump wouldn't have to pardon all those January 6ers if you guys actually gave these guys like due process and not just try to steamroll them into the prison, just try to pipeline right to there. All right.
There's another pardoned January 6th rider was shot and killed in a confrontation with Indiana police. A January 6th rider who was pardoned by Trump faced.
Yeah, shout out Tove. It was right-wing identitarian bullshit. That does not belong in MAGA or conservative. Exactly. It was just the white identitarians. I mean, once again, being their chauvinistic selves, thinking that they're just better than everybody else. I mean, we know we got those guys, and let's be real. I mean, it's quite funny because like those guys, I probably agree with them on policy, but we'll always disagree on race and how America should look. Like, we're not, bro. That's what I love about the right. We don't sit here and hide our crazies. We actually sit here and be like, yeah, they exist. Yeah, they're over here. We got them. It's like, that's not all of us, but we ain't gonna sit here and lie to you and say that we don't got our extremes over here. Left, bro, y'all align with y'all extremes. Y'all getting camouflage with them. Y'all throw blankets over them and protect them. Shoot. And then when they get out of hand, y'all won't even, condemn them. Crazy.
Child sex charges. Ex-Proud Boy Enrique Tarrio arrested on assault charges outside of the Capitol after he was pardoned. Another rioter charged with burglary in Virginia. Another rioter arrested near Obama's house and convicted on gun charges. I mean, part of the issue here is that Trump pardoned a bunch of people who were convicted in many cases for violent crimes.
And the issue is, look, first, two things. One, I think we should also commend the anonymous person who tipped off authorities. And today I also saw a story about a foiled plot in the Atlanta airport where that man's family tipped off authorities. And so the fact that we are more vigilant as a society and that people are taking the proactive action of trying to stop this and taking.
And I mean, here's the thing. Who you think tipped off the FBI? Who you think that guy sent that message to? Like, let's use common sense. He sent that to a right winger, most likely somebody who's MAGA, who vote the same way he did, but he's just not as violent. So yeah, like he sent it to another right winger, and he's like, "Yeah, bro, this is wild. Like, I gotta go report you to the FBI because you might actually do it." I mean, shout out to the guy who pretty much turned them in, because that's the only way the FBI got that information was the friend that he felt comfortable sending that to. And if we use common sense, you'd think the man would have been comfortable sending that to a leftist or somebody who wasn't, a pro-Trumper. I'm just saying.
These threats seriously, I think it's
We use
something
common
good that we
sense.
need to recognize. and applaud. As you were mentioning, there's been at least 8 reported pardoned January 6th convicted felons who have been rearrested for different things, soliciting minors, firearm possession, different things. Look, here's the problem. That really pardons are a very serious thing which should be given all the weight and consideration and deliberation. Donald Trump wanted to make a big splash with pardoning them all with a blanket pardon on his first day, the first thing he signed, the first thing he did. If time had been taken to analyze.
You know, so crazy. If I was to be a dick, right? Like I'm gonna play a Dem. I'm gonna be like the Dems, how they do this with the illegal immigrants when it comes to crime. You know, it's only so you tell me out of 1,500 individuals that was pardoned, right? Only 8 of them committed a crime. That's a pretty low percentage. Doesn't that mean that, you know, most of the people that you guys locked up were non-violent people? Doesn't that kind of prove our point? Because you only got 8 of them that committed a crime. I know, guys. Now, I condemn the crime, of course. Trust me, I condemn it. I don't approve of it. But doesn't that mean out of 1,500, only 8? And these are supposed to be considered violent people. So out of 1,500, if we're so violent, wouldn't you expect at least 500, you know, at least like 25, 30% of these people to be, you know, being violent again? But you only got 8 out of 1,500. Doesn't that mean you guys pretty much locked up a lot of non-violent people? I'm just saying.
Each of them individually, maybe some of these things could have been avoided. But we are where we are. There's been at least 8. It's not the first. Hopefully this will.
No, bro, come on, Bobby. Look, Bobby, you gotta understand. No, it did not include like no lawmakers. Dog, it included a whole bunch of young Republican leaders that were like that was like head of like that were like chapter leaders at Republican organizations, or what was it, like TPUSA chapters, but not TPUSA. It was like a different conservative organization, nonprofit organization. And it was those young Republican leaders that was, well, getting into those real racist rants in their little text group that somebody in there decided to expose. But no, there was no lawmakers. It was just a bunch of young Republican leaders that, they're not leaders in politics, but leaders in their chapters. Now, they're no lawmakers.
Be the last.
It is a risk when you blanket pardon a group without really looking into the individuals. The same.
You want to know how I know there was no lawmakers or councilmen? Because we'd have been asking them to step down, unlike you guys.
Risk applies to Joe Biden, who pardoned thousands of drug criminals without looking into the individual files at the end of his administration. I don't know how many of them have reoffended. I'm sure. Oh, and shout out Hellbad. He's like the dude with the freezy. With the freezies reins away from an Andrew debate. It was so good, funny. It was so effing good. It didn't even last 10 seconds. It was a 1-question knockout. The dude with the free. Wait, who held back? If they haven't, some probably will because of the volume of them, and they'll be responsible.
Okay. So the dude with the freezies ran away from an Andrew debate. It was so effing funny. Didn't even last 10 seconds. It was a 1-question knockout. Huh. Oh, shoot. I'm going to have to look that one up.
Are you suggesting that because Joe Biden did not personally look into each file, or because it did not go through a process? Because I'm not sure it didn't go through a process. But
I'm saying the president, it's pretty well reported that the president himself did not go through each individual case.
Sure, but
I'm just saying simply it's a risk.
You understand,
when you blanket pardon, it's a risk.
I mean, I understand that, but you understand also that there is actually a DOJ process generally that most other pardons go through. And even that process was circumvented for these January 6 rioters, and I don't think that they were for those.
I think in the case of the drug cases, it was, I mean, they were looking for a class of people who they thought had been simply overcharged because of the drug issue. My point is simply this: whenever you do a large group of people and you're the president, the buck stops with you. You're ultimately responsible for what happens. I do agree it's hard to connect one thing to the other. You don't know what people are going to do. I personally have no tolerance whatsoever for people who are granted mercy in our unique way we do it, and then go out and abuse that mercy. I have no tolerance for political violence. I have no tolerance for people threatening to kill anyone, from Hakeem Jeffries to Brett Kavanaugh to the other kinds of things we've seen. I have no tolerance for it, and I think they ought to throw the book at him. And I don't think any more mercy ought to be forthcoming people who have abused it in the past.
Well, I'd agree with that, but that means, in fact, that there's no moral or legal justification of blanket pardoning of insurrections January 6th. There's not in any way a persuasive argument one can make. And that's true for any president, be it Biden or be it Trump. And as you know, I'm not a fan of either one of those because I think they're tied to war crimes in Gaza, but that's just a rich footnote. But the important thing is more than just a risk, though, brother. It is no moral and legal justification. Drop the mic.
Well, the lack of remorse is one big part of it. I mean, these people were not remorseful in any way, and that's a big part of the problem.
Yeah, so we were just talking about pardons last week. I think pardons and commutations play an important role.
All right, and shout out my man Bobby. He says Vermont State Senator Sam Douglas will resign after intense pressure from top Republicans in the state due to leaked chat, which kind of proves my point that Republicans hold themselves accountable. Somebody in the chat just said you thought the GOP was going to hold them accountable. Well, thank you, Bobby, for proving our point that we hold our own accountable. Now, will you guys hold Jay Jones accountable for the text for threatening to kill children? Of course you guys won't. But like I said, I mean, thank you for proving my point that we hold our own accountable. But, oh, and you said there were lawmakers in there as well. Well, this guy was the only elected official in that group chat. So you're wrong about that. Now, I will admit, I did not know that this guy was an elected official. He was the guy who made the Indian stink joke. But you said that there were other lawmakers and elected officials in there, but it was just that one. It even says he was the only one in there. Now it's coming from the Washington Post. But all right.
And that the president should have that authority.
I mean, I love when they prove my point. Isn't that, bro, Bobby, I kind of like you, dog. I like you. Because you low-key be proving me right when I said that, well, when we'd have condemned them and then we're going to ask them to resign, which that's exactly what we did. Bro, we literally did what I said that we were going to do. That if the Republicans ever had somebody come out and do some wild stuff like that and they're an elected official, we're going to act for them to step down. He came out and said some wild things. What did he do? Step down. Jay Jones came out and said some wild things or some leaked text messages. What did y'all do? He's still running for an AG right now. Right now. So thank you for proving my point that, well, the Republicans actually do condemn their own. They do hold themselves accountable, but y'all have yet to. But thank you for proving my point, though. I really appreciate that. Hellbat, he's like, dude, since when did you pronounce an I as an E? Huh? Well, who knows? Nah, I'm not moving the goalpost, dog. You proved my point. Like, thank you. You literally proved my point. That, like, bro, what was my point? I said that if there was somebody and that was an elected official, they would have been asked to step down. You gave me the guy that was an elected official, and I do admit I was not privy to him being on there as an elected official. But since he was an elected official and a Republican, and I told you that, yo, if there's an elected official on there that's a Republican, we're going to tell him to step down, and you just sat there and told me about it, thank you for proving my point. Now, once again, how's it moving the goalpost for me to tell you, well, we've condemned our own, why don't you?
I think that there needs to be systems.
I mean, why haven't Jay Jones stepped down yet? I'm just saying. Like Sam Douglas did, why haven't Jay Jones? And I'll be real with you. What Sam Douglas did was weak compared to what Jay Jones did. That man just said Indians stink. This dude literally said, I want to see somebody's kids die in his arms. Like, tell me which one is worse. Like, do we really need to, like, sit there and wait this out? But okay, dog. Thank you, Bobby, once again, for proving me right. He said, I'm disappointed that the boys automatically apologized and didn't say read the context and educate yourself instead of being a dumbass. Oh, yeah, and some of the context of it, though, was definitely like, bro, they was just joking. But, yeah, bro did get fired for saying Indians stink. I was like, damn. But, hey, it is what it is, like I said. And somebody leaked those messages that was in the group chat. So whoever did that, I mean, hey. You can never be too safe. It's almost like these days, the way you operate in group chats, you might as well operate in real life. Like, you just can't trust anybody because you never know. You say something crazy and you got a name, they'll release it just to make you look bad or probably for blackmail. You never know. All right, here he said, you literally said no lawmakers were in the chat, elected officials. But bro, I admitted that I was wrong, but you also just said that I was right at the same time. Like I said, oh, I wasn't, you're right. There was an elected official in there. But you said, hold on, and you said lawmakers. You said as if there was 2 or 3 of them in there, but there was only one, and it was the only one was that guy. So you was even misinformed on that one as well. You didn't even have the numbers right. Oh man, I mean, like I said, bro, you're really just proving me right, because you have yet to condemn Jay Jones and be like, you know what, S.E.T, you're right. The Republicans actually do condemn their own. This guy just said Indian stinks, but yet my side has yet to ask Jay Jones to step down for threatening to, for not threatening, but saying it's okay to kill his political opponent's children. Yet, so Bobby, who's moving the goalposts? If you have yet to address that, like I've addressed my side, what about you? I'm like, that's crazy how you can say somebody's moving the goalpost when I've addressed the fact that, hey, yo, the Republicans, we do condemn our side. What about you, Bobby? Because you have yet to say anything about Jay Jones, unless you're okay with saying that, you know, the killing of kids. Unless that's you, dog. And this is and you're one of the people that talk about Israel. I mean, you have no right to talk about Israel anymore if you can't condemn Jay Jones the way you're condemning Sam Douglas. I'm just saying, you look retarded in a way. Like, you can sit there and talk about the kids in Palestine, but it's cool when, you know, your own threatens some Republicans' kids. Like, dog, do you hear yourself?
Standards that apply for every president across the board, Democrat or Republican.
Absolutely.
But that aside, I think we're missing the context in which we're actually talking about when the story started about this individual.
Once again, Bobby, I appreciate you for proving me right.
And what they were actually trying to do on January 6th and how dangerous it was for our country, for people in the Capitol at that time. And so then I guess the question is, I like to see that usually when you get pardoned, there's a
yeah, some of them do stink. I ain't even gonna lie. Some of them definitely do stink. I ain't gonna lie about that. But hey, it is what it is.
Form of rehabilitation that happens. You have to show that you've served some time and that you've actually learned. We don't really know if that happened because it happened so fast under this administration. It was a campaign promise. It was actually like, I don't care if they served time and they did some rehabilitation. I'm going to do it so that my folks know I stand with these folks. And the final question I just have to ask is, you know, Scott, you and I are aligned. There is no place for political violence anywhere, but why is it so heightened right now? And what is the antidote to bring it down? Because just putting one side against the other, we're just going to always just try to keep outdoing each other, and then violence will keep happening. So
yeah, but here's the thing, sweetheart. If that guy was to actually go out there and kill Akeem Jeffries, we're not going to sit there and celebrate Akeem Jeffries' death like you guys was celebrating Charlie Kirk's. Like, actually, I mean, no, I actually don't know. I don't want that to happen because we don't need something bad to happen to one of y'all to show you guys that we have more grace than you guys. Because I know for a fact that if Akeem Jeffrey was to get shot, we'd sit here and be sad with you guys, not sit there and say, oh, ha, ha, ha. No, because not a oh, ha, ha, ha moment. Like, that's the difference between us and you guys. I mean, Bobby just proved it to us. Thank you, Bobby, for also proving that, yeah, we're willing to condemn our own, even for something as light as saying that Indians stink. We asked that man to resign over that. But y'all guys still letting Jay Jones run for Attorney General of Virginia. He said it's okay to kill a man's kids. He think that's okay to say. Like, well, how do you have any room to judge?
Layer deeper and try and figure out, like, why is this violence surfacing in such a way right now, and how do we get it to stop?
All right, on to the next video, guys.
Arguing that Lindsay Halligan was improperly appointed to her role, Trump's handpicked U.S. attorney in Virginia is attracting scrutiny for another reason. Lindsay Halligan reportedly spent some 33 hours on and off during a recent weekend texting with a reporter. Not in regards to Comey's case, but that of another one of the president's targets, New York Attorney General Letitia James. It was reporting on that case that kickstarted this back and forth that you're about to see. Let me explain. Anna Bauer is a senior editor for the nonprofit publication Lawfare. She recently posted about a New York Times story concerning the case that was being made against the New York Attorney General, and Halligan is the person, of course, who presented that case to the grand jury. Less than an hour after Bauer posted about it, Halligan messaged her directly on the encrypted app Signal that reporters often use. And according to Bauer, Lindsay Halligan wrote, quote, "Anna, Lindsay Halligan here. You're reporting things that are simply not true. Thought you should have a heads up." What followed that initial text was more than a day of text insisting that the reporting from the New York Times was inaccurate. Now, Bauer hadn't reported that, but because she had repeated it online, Halligan was going back and forth with her on the merits of that reporting. Then, after a few hours, Halligan wrote, "By the way, everything I ever sent you is off record. You're not a journalist, so it's weird saying that, but just letting you know." Bauer responded, quote, "I'm sorry, but that's not how this works. You don't get to say that in retrospect." She then tonight posted the entire text chain to Lawfare. And Anna Bauer is my source here tonight. And thank you so much, Anna, for being here, because I'll tell you, I know a lot of Trump people who are sending this story around when they first saw it. I just wonder, what was your reaction when Lindsay Halligan first reached out to you?
Yeah, I was really surprised, and you know, honestly, I was very curious to hear what she had to say. You know, for some background, Caitlin, I did not have a pre-existing relationship with Lindsay Halligan in terms of, you know, speaking to her as a reporter. We had met one time many years previous while I was reporting on Trump's criminal investigations and criminal cases. She was on that criminal defense team. But other than that, you know, she was very much a stranger to me, essentially. So when I learned that she actually was texting me, or I suspected that it really was Lindsay Halligan, you know, I was interested to hear what she had to say. You know, I report on the cases that she is
Well, bro, Republicans didn't force Matt. Bro, Matt Gaetz stepped down on his own. I mean, bro, first off, was Matt Gaetz held, like, you know, guilty? Was he guilty of it? No, he was under the suspicion, and I think he beat that case. So no, Matt Gaetz stepped down on his own. Matt Gaetz, if you want to be real, Matt Gaetz held himself accountable. If anything, he said, "You know what? If you actually looked into the Matt Gaetz stepping down, you would know this." Matt Gaetz said, "Look, I don't want this to be a distraction. I'm gonna go ahead and step down for trying to get sworn in as AG. Well, trying to get past what was it? Trying to get confirmed as AG, and it's all good." And then that's where Pam Bondi came up. I wish Matt Gaetz was it. Trust me, I wish it was Matt Gaetz, because Matt Gaetz wouldn't be playing none of these games that Pam Bondi is right now. But no, Matt Gaetz stepped down because he didn't want to be a distraction, and that's what it was. So yeah. I mean, and let's be real, Matt Gaetz, he is a Republican, so it's another Republican holding himself accountable. Why isn't Jay Jones, you know, stepping down and holding himself accountable? I'm just saying, bro. It's like, you can't beat my argument if you can't condemn your own side. Like, Bobby, come on, bro. Don't go out like this. Like, as much as you want to sit there and try to say, what about this? What about that? What about that? Bro, Jay Jones beat the argument every time. The man wished death on kids, bro. You can't win until you condemn that.
Prosecuting. And so I was curious, but it seemed like mostly what she wanted to talk to me about was a tweet that I wrote that summarized the New York Times reporting concerning certain grand jury testimony in the Letitia James case. And I think that's what really struck me as so surprising, is that, you know, it's very much not often that you see a sitting United States attorney who unsolicited reaches out to a reporter to talk about something that relates to an ongoing prosecution, that relates to grand jury testimony potentially, because those are the kinds of things that there's policies, there's laws that prohibit disclosure about that kind of information. So while I don't think it's very unusual to have a prosecutor reach out about that subject matter, I did find it really strange. And
shout out, take care of each other, because, you know, that's my whole point. I know you read the Jones text. They were cruel and hateful, but they weren't threats. Neither was Sam Douglas said either. He didn't threaten Indians. He just said that they stink. This man over here threatening children, and it is cruel and it's highly cruel. We can agree on that. So if this man is stepping down for saying something is lighter than "I want to kill children, that I hope your children die," like, come on now. if we can condemn our own to step down, like why can't the left condemn their own and get Jay Jones to step down? It's like you guys can no longer say, due to Jay Jones, you guys can no longer say you condemn political violence. That like, I ain't gonna lie, bro, y'all leadership is completely taking y'all out the argument.
Especially considering we didn't have a pre-existing reporter-source relationship.
Yeah, because obviously reporters are trying to, reach out to people all the time, talk to them, get context, obviously to make sure reporting is accurate and fair. But because you were contacted out of the blue, I mean, I imagine you were a little bit suspicious of whether it was even actually her at the beginning.
Yeah, and there were a few things that we did to confirm that it was actually her. So one thing is, as I mentioned, we had previously met one time several years before. She was able to answer questions that suggested to me it likely was Lindsay Halligan because she was able to say where we first met and who she was with. And then we later were able to obtain her phone number, which then connected to the existing conversation that we had. And then finally, right before we went to publication, we reached out for comment through the Public Affairs Office at the Department of Justice. They confirmed that that these were text messages with Lindsay Halligan. And right before we were about to publish, she also additionally reached out to me again. And as you mentioned, claimed that our conversation was off the record. Caitlin.
Shout out Hellbat. He's like, but my fifis enslaves like the set, but my feelings enslaves. It's like dog. It's like Bobby. We cannot care about your feelings when it comes to Trump or the Republican Party. It's like, let's just stick to the facts that the GOP does seem to hold themselves accountable, but not the Democrats. Like, y'all might want to fix that. I mean, you might want to start by at least saying, yo, S.E.T, look, you're right. Like, for some reason, our side haven't stepped down, but y'all have. I mean, but you can't just give us that grace because it would kind of admit that your side lacks good character. Well, at least your leadership. But it is what it is. Not all of them, just a good amount of them. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get right back over to the right side of media.
I said, if I do this again, I'm going to get a ballroom built, and we're putting up our own money with the government is paying for nothing. You probably hear the beautiful sound of construction to the back. You hear that sound? Oh, that's music to my ears. I love that sound. Other people don't like it. I love it.
So President Trump sounding off as demolition begins on the east wing of the White House to make way for his new $250 million ballroom. Not everyone is a fan. The View was breaking out into protest song.
You don't own it. You cannot take it down. You don't own it.
Tacky, gaudy, nasty ballroom.
He's pooping on the American people, literally.
But to take literally a wrecking ball to the White House, it's grotesque. It's just grotesque.
Man, y'all hearts would have been broken in the earlier days then. Oh, man, y'all would have been destroyed.
Far different,
Painful. I mean, this is historic structure.
It's history being torn to shreds.
I mean, there's so much beauty and history in the East
no
Wing.
way.
So it's sad to see that, that huge hole there.
Caroline Levitt had a post about Teddy Roosevelt building the West Wing, Taft making the executive office into the Oval. You can make improvements. I'm a traditionalist. I love tradition, but I do think you can make improvements along the way. And to have a ballroom wouldn't be a terrible thing. Plus, taxpayers are not paying for it.
That is so true. And remember, Nixon added a bowling alley, and Bill Clinton put mirrors above the beds. I understand Morning Joe upset. Mika knows a bad facelift when she sees one. Look. Dems don't understand Trump. Goes back to what he said when I work my ass off. He does multiple things every day. That's what he's done all his life. Democrats will say, how can you work on this redesign when we have a war in the Middle East? He says, I'm actually working on the Middle East, too. I'm also dealing with Putin and Zelensky. I got the border over here. Democrats don't understand that you can do different things at once. They can only do one thing, and that one thing is have a conversation. And then they pretend that the conversation is action. Oh, we'll talk about that. Let's talk about it. That's why nothing got done. That's why no kings. Everybody's freaking out because they're not used to seeing action. In your face, Jessica, preemptively.
Jesse, if every single Trump action is the end of the world and the end of history and the end of the country, then really nothing is.
Yeah, I wouldn't make a
Man.
big deal out of this. Gavin can hold a little ball in there, or whoever the next Democrat president is.
Like every man, like literally every move this man makes, he's a dictator, he's unconstitutional, he's trying to be a king. Is like, bro, when multiple presidents have done it before him, like bringing in the National Guard to uphold federal law to renovating the White House. I mean, multiple presidents have done it before this man. Crazy. And shout out Tove. He is a pro multitasker. I mean, quite honestly, I mean, handling things at home base, handling things geopolitically. Yeah, you got to give it to him. And of course, trying to make trade deals.
Democrats are upset because Trump is so unconstrained and he's so ambitious and he's wielding executive power so confidently. And none of their presidents ever did. And nothing they can do can check his power. They feel like they've squandered the opportunity in the executive office to do grand things, to make peace deals, to redo the World Trade Order. And they're looking at a guy who they thought was just like a pockmark in history, come back and be a consequential president. And he's so consequential, he's leaving a symbolic and physical legacy right there on the footprint of the most hallowed grounds in Washington, D.C., and they can't wrap their head around it.
I was thinking, Jessica, that like for me, when I first saw the picture, I was like, oh, I love that. That's such a beautiful spot. But then I realized, one, that there can be progress, but two, for him, a site like that is like, oh yeah, here we go. Because he's a real estate developer. And for other people, we're like, oh my gosh, that looks horrible.
He was definitely excited by it, though there was some reporting that White House aides didn't know that the optics of this.
Shout out to Trump. I came in like a wrecking ball. I'm weak. Now the song's in my head, but shout out to him. Now, of course, while the Dems think he's in the background doing this, we're honestly just giving the man applause. Like, let's be real. Like, about time. I know. Like, you know what? Shout out to renovations to the White House. It could use an upgrade.
Was really bad, especially because he had said that what he was planning pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of. That doesn't really look like total respect to the existing building. So I don't know if his construction crew got a little ahead of themselves.
Bruh.
That's what you do. Wait, Jessica,
How do you think it's done?
Historical.
You got to break down whatever you're going to rebuild. Like, can y'all just stop being Saudi? Can y'all just stop being Saudi? I mean, like, stop being petty for like, I don't know, a day. Like, see what that does for y'all soul or something, because it's too petty where y'all are crying about reconstruction. Like, you know what we got to do? We got to break it down or bust it down to build it back up. Like, why are y'all crying over a bunch of rubble? Like, get over yourselves. Like, oh man,
stop it. Get some help.
Preservation Society.
Yeah.
He's not coming in and like bombing the place and putting up the Obama Presidential Library, which is ghastly.
Listen,
have you seen that thing? It's a monstrosity.
Okay,
at least
that's
Trump
in
has
Chicago,
taste.
and come on, listen. I understand that Mar-a-Lago is allegedly the height of style and panache and glitz and glam, but he turned the Rose Garden into a patio that looks like you should have chicken tenders and fries on it.
Have you been there?
And now I can see.
No, but
I
you've
have
never
not
been there,
invited.
so you have no.
So you never been there, so you don't even know what the scenery looks like. So I seen pictures. Well, it could have just been bad pictures, but I mean, it looks pretty nice. I know what she's talking about, and it looks pretty nice. I've seen multiple pictures of it. So, I mean, it may not be to your taste, but it looks pretty good. You could walk through the little rose garden. I'm not sure why you're mad. It's like anything this man does, bro, y'all gonna be mad about. Bro can't even rearrange a garden.
Idea.
Okay.
When I'm president, I'll have.
What's wrong with chicken tenders?
I enjoy chicken tenders. I have a 3-year-old. I'm just saying that the Rose Garden looked better before.
So you're pretty much trying to say, well, the Rose Garden now looks like a place for barbecue. Well, isn't that the American thing? I mean, don't we do barbecues? Like, don't we do barbecues? So wouldn't it be cool if the White House looked like it got a little barbecue spot, since that's literally the most American thing you can do? Well, one of the most American things you could do, hold barbecues. It is. Shout out barbecues. All right, but shout out bodies. Seems like the racist bad apples fall in the conservative right-wing groups. Never seen left groups wave flags of traitors in the Capitol. wave flags of traitors mean wave American flags, while you got leftists out there raised like waving, what was it, Ukrainian flags, Palestinian flags. But oh yeah, they waved the American flag upside down. So bro, what? Like, come on, Bobby. Like, come on, bro. Go outside and touch grass, brother. Go outside. You got to go outside and touch grass. Like, really, dog. And then Bobby, come on. You're just gonna sit here and ignore all the racist remarks that I get just for being a black conservative. You're just gonna forget that. You're just gonna turn your eye. You're just gonna turn your eyes away from it like this. You're going to all the coons, all the N words, all the stereotypes. You're just gonna ignore it and turn your eyes away from it because it's your own. But then you're gonna turn away. You're gonna have full bulging eyes on the young Republicans' text, bro. You're a hypocrite. Like you are the definition of a hypocrite.
And should we have a bigger ballroom? Maybe, but he wasn't supposed to do this, and he said that he wouldn't. But the big problem is that it's being funded by Donald Trump and also donors. Some of the names we know, some which we don't. And Donald Trump has been profiting off of the presidency, left, right, and center. His kids do it too, with these deals all over the world.
How's he profiting from that?
Well, he's gotten. Well,
it's for the White House.
You don't know what kind of influence he's selling by having people come there. That's what happens at Mar-a-Lago too. It happened at Trump International.
So he should have taxpayers pay for it.
Yes, the crypto. No, he shouldn't do it. Or
then he can't do it. Just say he doesn't. Just say you don't want it.
You don't like it no matter what he does, Jessica.
Maybe they should just show Dancing with the Stars in the family theater.
That is. They should do Dancing with the Stars in the.
I mean, like, Bobby, don't you think it's kind of crazy that people can say comments like this? Can you imagine if a MAGA person said that to me? You would lose your shit. You'd be like, yo, what do you mean you're trying to say he's not black? Like, wow. And then you'd come to me like, say, you see how racist these MAGA people are? But if a Republican sits here and try to doubt my blackness, if a Dem sits here and try to doubt my blackness, you're on board with it. That's what I'm saying. You guys are hypocrites. I mean, you truly don't care about the black community. You just care about the ones that agree with y'all. I mean, that's sad. Big, beautiful ballroom.
That is a great idea.
Will. Thank you.
I think what you're trying to say, Jeff.
And to think that my blackness revolves around what? Who I support politically? Like, bro, like to debase being black down to just your political alliance is wild and highly disrespectful to black people. But okay, bro.
Guys, thank you, Trump, for saving all this taxpayer dollars and creating a large space where we can hold huge meetings. Picture evidence, 1902, Theodore Roosevelt constructing the West Wing doesn't look too great. 1934, FDR added a second floor. Basement also doesn't look too great. 1948, Truman changed the foundation, also doesn't look good. There's another bad one.
There was a fire, too, at some point.
We have Nixon, you're showing them. 1970, Nixon changed the pool to the press room. And then 1975, Ford built an outdoor swimming pool. These look horrendous, but the end result was a beautiful.
Said, Bobby, who's going to pick your fruits and clean your house? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Bobby. Well, Bobby, you've been making some wild comments. That's all I'm gonna say, Bobby. You've been making some pretty wild comments. Without, like I said, dog, you're a hypocrite. It's like because you're not able to condemn your side whatsoever.
White House, so we can say thank you, Donald Trump, for following.
If you don't think there is racists on the left, yeah, y'all got racists, and y'all expose yourselves whenever as somebody of a different ethnicity who is a non-white disagrees with you guys. Them white liberals get pretty damn racist.
In the footsteps of predecessors.
Is that why they call it the press pool?
I mean, smile in our face, but as soon as we wear the MAGA hat or we become black conservatives, oh boy, they're ready to throw all the N-words at us. Just as much as I'm gonna be real with you, a KKK member would. Like, I'll be so honest with you guys. Like, the most racist things I've heard is come from the left. Like, and trust me, I've heard some racist things you came from me, added at me, personally at me, from the right as well. But mainly, it comes from the left. That's why I literally laugh at you guys when you sit there and say, you're supporting the racists. I'm like, bro, you're standing in line with the racists. And when these guys prove that they're racist, you never condemn them. You never sit there and be like, bro, what the hell's wrong with you guys? Like, y'all will literally have people out there saying that black people don't know how to use computers, and y'all will not say shit about them. But okay, though, we're the ones that support racism, but you literally got, what was it, Governor Holcomb out there saying that, there's black people that don't know how to use computers. Damn, that's highly racist to sit there and think that black people are that stupid. But okay, though, Republicans are the racist ones, though. Man, Some of these guys. Maybe you need to explain how conservative and the black community lives again. I mean, yeah, maybe you need to explain how conservative the black community is, Kian. Sorry, Toph, how conservative the black community is. Yeah, we are highly conservative. I mean, bro, but they don't get that. They don't get that. If some reason it's about hating the rich white man, if we can get the black community to just hate some rich white man, they're blinded towards the other atrocities that's going on in their community. It's quite crazy. It's pretty damn crazy. They did it with Bush. And somehow, I don't know what the hell they did with Obama. I mean, I think we were too gawky about Obama to the point we just ignored everything he was doing because he's, first black president. Donald Trump comes in, does some good for the black community, and guess what? Now they didn't try to say he's the worst thing for the black community since slavery. It's like, you guys sound ridiculous.
Yeah, the press pool. There. Oh, Dana, that's a good story. Is it?
Is that true? Did I just make that up?
I want to check. I mean,
Wait, that's
maybe
brilliant.
say that, but it's a pool of people, so I don't know.
And the pool used to be
We
where
ever
the
signed the pool?
I never understood why they called it the spray.
Pool spray?
Yes.
That was
The
a Bill
spray.
It's a spray of.
That was a Bill Clinton.
But Bobby, if you want to come on here and you can debate me on this, come on up and we can have this debate because the call line is open. It's in the post tab. Just go to the main page. If you want to come up, we can debate this. And let's see. I guess if anybody else comes, I'll give you a good 5 minutes. 5 minutes to go ahead and make your case.
Oh, Kaylee.
Why not?
Going blue.
Wow, what has happened
Going blue.
to me and Kaylee tonight?
Yikes.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page.
But hey, I welcome the debate. I welcome the debate, my friend.
You hear that sound? Oh, that's music to my ears. I love that sound. Other people don't like it. I love it, Josh. I think when I hear that sound, it reminds me of money.
All right, let's go.
If you live in D.C., get used to those sweet, sweet, soothing sounds of demolition. The president's building the biggest and most beautiful ballroom in the world, and it's free. Trump and donors put up the money. And even though she lives in New York, it keeps Mika up at night.
It is hard to watch that, and it's hard to believe that any president could destroy the White House. To take literally a wrecking ball to the White House, it's grotesque.
Man, bro. Man, where's Arnold?
Stop whining. Your kids are soft.
Softies, straight up softies. All right, let's go over to the Young Turks and let's see what they got to say.
It's grotesque.
The ladies of The View tried drowning out the jackhammers with their pipes.
You don't own that building. That is the people's building. You don't own it.
There we go. Here's the.
Take it down. You don't own it. Take your behind to another town.
Hillary says it's not his house, it's your house. And
I mean, man, the childish antics is hilarious, but it is what it is. You don't own it. Oh, Whoopi.
In 20 days, we speak about Donald Trump shutdowns, net approval rating. We're talking 20 days into it. In 2018/2019, Donald Trump's net approval.
He said, "I vote to close the chat. We don't need another skid." Well, damn. And shout out to my man. Oh, shout out to sis. Shout out to O. She says they think racism just means I'm better. You're an N-word, and not realizing that you need me because you're oppressed because of your skin color. I mean, yeah, look, bro, they got that crazy white savior complex. I mean, these are the same people that's asking white people for reparations, the same people that they want to call white devil and evil and all this good stuff that they're on their knees begging for money. It's kind of crazy. It's like, instead of you hate somebody, but you're literally begging these guys for money, or you're trying to demand money from these guys that you're calling white devils. Going, give me money from my ancestors. And they've been telling you no for a while, but you still come back on your knees asking for more. Man, pathetic, ain't it? But all right, let's go ahead and get back to the facts.
We speak about Donald Trump shutdowns, net approval rating. We're talking 20 days into it. In 2018/2019, Donald Trump's net approval rating was already falling. The shutdown was eating into his popular support. It was down 3 points already at this particular point and would fall considerably more. It was very much on the decline. You come over to this side of the screen, this shutdown hasn't eaten into Donald Trump's support at all. His net approval rating is actually up a point. And the first shutdown during Trump's first term, 2018, 2019, was hurting Donald Trump. This one is not hurting him at all. There's no real reason Donald Trump might say, at least when it comes to popular support, I want to get out of this shutdown.
So it turns out the government shutdown, which has been taking place for 21 days as of today, it's actually not hurting Trump politically. His poll numbers indicate that he's not falling, but rising in approval. Okay, just wanted to put that out there.
Okay.
Now let me just get my stool back.
Yeah, I know. When CNN got a snitch on, well, when CNN got a reveal that, yeah, Dems, I'm sorry, but this is looking bad on you guys. Donald Trump approval rating is going up. Yes, people are loving that Donald Trump is standing up against the Dems and their wild and their radical tactics. We're loving it. While, you know, of course, the Dems are trying to fearmonger that, oh, no, this is all Trump shutdown. No, it's a Schumer shutdown. Yes, it's Chuck Schumer shutdown. And it's going to remain that. And that's going to be the name throughout history. OK, guys, so get used to it. Because guess who's getting good marks on it? Trump. Why? For standing against these guys.
Okay, just wanted to put
and really I'm gonna be real with you. You really got to be like, have blind faith to the Democrat Party to not sit here and be like, you know what, I ain't gonna lie, this is the Democrats' fault. They're the demanding party. We got on the GOP about being the demanding party a lot of times when they shut down the government. Let's take accountability and let's be consistent. Since we're the demanding party, it's our fault. So we need to either negotiate for real or just go ahead and open up the government.
That out there.
Okay.
Now let me just get my stool back. Okay, but in all seriousness, the government shutdown is ongoing, right? And now Democrats are a little bit concerned that they're going to be blamed for it, even though, I mean, look, there's truth to that, right? They are holding out for an extension on the Affordable Care Act subsidies so the healthcare premiums of Americans don't double. And I think that is a worthy cause. The Republican Party appears to be immovable on this issue. They don't care about the Affordable Care Act. And honestly, if the premiums do double, it will hurt Republicans politically. We just don't want it to get to that because Americans are gonna suffer, right? So we're gonna get to all of the fears that Democrats have in terms of their strategy in just a minute, but any initial thoughts, Cenk?
Yeah, so I think that was a little misleading. So there's so many things going on now. So it's not like, oh, the government shut down and Trump is becoming more popular. He did a theoretical peace deal that helped him tremendously, right? Now, we think it's not a real peace deal, but it was a good effort and certainly it was well received by the country. So you got to take that into account. You can't just say, oh, the numbers are moving up by a point, so that means he's winning this. But of course, the Democrats are also bungling this.
Well, they are bungling it, and I'm curious why.
All right, I guess that's fair. He's like, well, it doesn't mean that Trump is just automatically winning. It just means that the Democrats aren't really giving everybody the best position. I mean, let's be honest. Democrats have a very bad argument. So I'm gonna be real with you. You don't even gotta like Trump to sit there and look at the Dems and be like, yeah, you guys are BSing. You guys are literally BSing. This is not about negotiating. This is about you guys trying to get y'all way when y'all know you're not gonna get your way.
You think that? We'll get to that in just a minute. But before we get to the Democrats and whether or not they're bungling this whole government shutdown thing, why don't we hear a little more from Harry Enton and just really savor the animated nature in which he delivers this information to you.
Blame Trump for the shutdown, a great deal. In 2018/2019, 61% more than 3 in 5 Americans blame Trump, a great deal for that particular.
Yeah, because he shut it down because he wanted funding for the wall. Like even I agreed that, yeah, Trump shut down the government. Like it was common sense. But now it's that the shoe's on the other foot with the Dems and they're the demanding party who want to add more spending. They don't want to sit there and take the blame. Just like everybody was ready to give the blame to Donald Trump. If we're consistent, well, the Dems are in the same position that Donald Trump put himself in 2018.
Shutdown. You come over to this side of the screen, look at this. It's a different world. It's a different world. 48% of Americans blame Trump a great deal for this particular shutdown. The legislative process is basically freezed up, on Capitol Hill. You may say,
wow. So blame Trump for the shutdown, only 48%, which means that, I mean, not only has the blame for him went down because it's not really his fault, but I mean, majority of the people are blaming the Dems for this. It is what it is.
Well, then he can't actually.
Hey, man, don't get mad at me, man. Get mad at CNN, okay? This y'all guy right here. This y'all guy.
to get legislation through, but that's not how Trump is governing in this term. We've spoken about this over and over and over again. He's using his pen. He's using executive orders. Trump executive orders at this point of presidency. In 2017, it was just 50. Look at this, already 210 executive orders signed by Donald Trump during this presidency. That is the most in a year. You have to go all the way back since Franklin Delano Roosevelt to find a president who signed more executive orders in a year than Donald Trump has already signed this time around.
There you go.
Okay, so it is not a good sign when the federal government runs.
And shout out Terry. Said, my love, I apparently did something wrong. Whatever it was, I'm sincerely sorry. I would never do it. Oh, I mean, you didn't do anything wrong. Actually, I didn't know why your ranch was taking off. It was probably taking off like a while back. Like back when I had my other co-host and, he was handling things on that end. I'm not saying it was him, but I don't know. But hey, you're back though, and you didn't do anything wrong, Terry. So don't even put that in your head. You good, sis. Shout out Tove. She said, last thing, best thing I ever heard. Racism is a social construct. We are all shades of wheat. Hey, and ain't that the truth? Shout out Tove. Appreciate it, sis.
On executive orders, we're supposed to have 3 co-equal branches of government. You guys get the point. Congress is just pathetic. And look, the focus on Trump and his approval rating in relation to the government.
He said blame towards the beginning of the shutdown was 61%. No. It was I got you. Let's see here. Boom. It was actually
a legislative.
See, in 2018 to 2019 held back, it was 61% of people blamed them because remember, Trump wanted funds for the border. And this is when, well, the Dems were in power. And they were telling him, like, yo, we're not going to let you go ahead and get this border funding. And he's like, all right, then I'll shut the government down over. Remember, that was the back and forth, the famous back and forth that we seen between Chuck Schumer and with Donald Trump and Chuck Schumer and Hillary. Yes. That was the result of that famous back and forth. And then in 2025, it's dramatically reduced because this time it's the Dems that want to add spending to the CR bill with $1.5 trillion in healthcare over the next 10 years. So people are using their common sense and realizing that, yeah, this is the Dems' fault because you guys are the demanding party. Just like how we were able to blame it on Donald Trump because he was demanding funds for the border. Well, we're blaming it on you guys because you're demanding funds for healthcare or Medicaid.
Process is basically freezed up, on Capitol Hill. You may say, well, then he can't actually get legislation through. But that's not how Trump is governing in this term. We've spoken about this over and over and over again. He's using his pen. He's using executive orders. Trump executive orders at this point of presidency. In 2017, it was just 50. Look at this, already 210 executive orders signed by Donald Trump during this presidency. That is the most in a year. You have to go all the way back since Franklin Delano Roosevelt to find a president who signed more executive orders in a year than Donald Trump has already signed this time around.
Okay, so it is not a good sign when the federal government runs on executive orders. We're supposed to have 3 co-equal branches of government. You guys get the point. Congress is just pathetic. And look, the focus on Trump and his approval rating.
And shout out to Hellbat. He says, also, F wheat, I'm a potato in the ground. A potato in the ground, man. Well, shout out Hellbat. Man, almost sound like you're from Idaho. Shout out to my man Bobby. He says, I donated last week and a lot of your trolls said I would dispute the charges. It's been a week and no charges disputed at Fox Chase. Charges disputed for who? What, Trump? Or I don't know. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about when it comes to charges. But like I said, though, if you want to come up and explain, we'll be happy to hear you out, Bobby.
In relation to the government shutdown, I don't think makes much sense because this is really based on what Congress is up to. And the Democrats have essentially made a name for themselves, especially in the Senate, when it comes to making demands in order to get a government funding bill passed. So of course, we should focus on what people think about Democrats versus Republicans on this matter. And lo and behold, we do have some polling on it. A Reuters Ipsos poll found that 50% of respondents see the Republican congressional leadership as deserving the most blame for the shutdown, while 43% see top congressional Democrats as the main culprits. It also asked Americans about the issue at the heart of the government shutdown. And this is really important because
I mean, probably 7 undecided.
This is what the Democrats should focus on. Instead, they bungled this by adding on a bunch of other peripheral garbage that is being dealt with in the courts. So for instance, some 72% of respondents, including almost all Democrats and half of Republicans, said the discounts, meaning the extension of the ACA subsidies, should be kept in place, compared to just 22% who said they should be ended. Among those favoring the subsidies, 60% said that they were important enough to keep the government closed until the deal is reached, to keep them in place, while 37% said lawmakers should find a way to keep the subsidies after the government reopens.
All right then, so even Dems, all right, so there are some Dems who are saying, like I said, it's kind of crazy how y'all be trying to deny y'all own and what y'all say, but there are Dems saying that no, keep the government shut down. So it's kind of crazy how there are Dems literally saying shut the government down for healthcare costs, but there's you don't see no Republicans saying that. Because we want the government to keep going. It's the Dems who want to hold it up over healthcare or 1.5 trillion in Medicaid. So yeah, you can't really blame us when y'all side are literally saying, yo, no, we want to keep the government shut down for the Obamacare healthcare subsidies. How can y'all blame us? We're not demanding anything. How can y'all blame the Republicans or the conservatives if we're not demanding anything and you guys are? Come on now, be fair.
Okay, so what Democrats are doing now is, instead of being hyper-focused on one ask, one incredibly important ask, now they're saying, we want all of the federal workers who got laid off to be rehired.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. I can't even describe the healthcare crisis that we're in, because I mean, there are plenty of recipients of Medicaid and Medicare. Nobody has lost it. I mean, I would say this, not an absorbent amount of people have not lost healthcare. And what I mean by absorbent amount, I mean, there is 70 million recipients of Medicaid, 70 million. So if you tell me by the end of the year, we're at 65, 60 million, then sure, I can hear you guys out. But until then, you guys are just fear mongering and you don't make no sense, because people are still getting Medicaid. People are still getting Medicare. I mean, so where's this healthcare crisis that you guys are talking about? Oh yeah, it doesn't exist.
That's, by the way, making progress through the courts. So let the courts handle that. Focus on one thing and drive the message home. It is a popular issue. Right. You guys are on the right side of the issue. Focus on that. That's way more consequential than all the other things that you're trying to tack onto this, which muddies the water and the strategy.
Yeah, so there's two different things here. One is who's at fault, and the other is who's playing the politics better and worse. So
bro, that was the dumbest thing I ever heard. So I don't have health care because I don't agree that there's a healthcare crisis. No, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, bro. And you said you're an engineer? All right, bro, you don't gotta lie.
The real world, what's they need here is 60 votes in the Senate, which you remember, of course, during the Democratic years. That was very frustrating to the Democrats. Theoretically, I think they actually loved it. But that blocked almost all progressive priorities, right? So here, the Republicans are blocked because they need 60 votes in the Senate. So they need a bunch of Democrats to say yes to the continuing resolution. Now, they are arrogant, and to be fair to them, they have gotten used to Democratic surrender. So they turn to the Democrats and go, "Why?"
Loki, you sound retarded because, bro, I have a job. I have employer-funded health care. That's why you sound stupid. It's like, what? And then, dog, how do you know so much about Medicaid? You're supposed to be an engineer making 200K. What do you know about low-income health insurance, buddy? Man, you don't gotta lie to kick it, bro.
You surrender like you always do. And this time around, because of so much public pressure, the Democrats, in a very rare case, are saying, we're gonna try not surrendering. So the other day I got a new mattress. My old mattress sucked. It had all these grooves, you'd fall into them, you couldn't get out. It was a disaster. So I got a Lisa mattress, love it. Finally some peace and rest. So I did their cute little mattress quiz. Even their quiz.
Once again, people really can't explain to me this healthcare crisis that's been going on. That's the new, because think about it. Remember, you guys said that people are gonna die. All these people are gonna get kicked off. None of that's happened. Nobody's died because of the big beautiful bill and cuts to Medicaid. Nobody's died because they got kicked off healthcare. So, like I said, what's this healthcare crisis that you're talking about?
I tried it. There we go. Love it. Now we're getting some peace and rest. You guys got to check it out. Oh, plus they do really good things in the world. They actually
that was funny though. That man Loki was trying to talk about Medicaid and Medicare, and I'm just like, hold on, dog. Like, wait. You want me to call my provider, but what does that have to do with Medicaid and Medicare and this healthcare crisis that you guys are complaining about? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like y'all don't even have like logical like arguments here. Like, what? But all right, though. Let's go ahead and get on to something else, man. Let's go ahead and get on to my man Piers Morgan. What was it? I think he had Harry Sisson on, and they were talking about that Trump meme that just got the Dems so upset. I mean, they're very easily triggerable people. Like, y'all just get so triggered so easy. Actually, no, before we do that, let's get into the clip of the night. Because this guy is the Dems, bro. This guy, but he said he voted for Trump, but honestly, I think he's a liar, but it is what it is.
Trump has cut my food stamps from $2,800 down to $350. Now, what am I supposed to do? So I literally just got this piece of mail today saying that due to new policy changes from the Trump administration, all this shit, whatever, that all these cuts and whatever he's doing over there, now they're telling me I have to go work. Now I have to go do all this. Well,
yeah,
I literally got.
Bro, you hear what that man said? Now he's telling me I gotta go work. I gotta go do all. Yes, you gotta go work at least 80 hours a month, or you gotta do community hour, or you gotta do like what voluntary community service. So you're telling me that you can't go, I don't know, work at a nursing home or something, or go find, I don't know, Goodwill to go work at? Like, really, bro? He's like, I got like 5 kids. First off, how are you a man not working with 5 kids? Like, how are you getting that off? Like, what is your wife making all the money? And you just sit at home taking care of 5 kids? I'm like, sorry, bro. I do not feel sorry for you in the slightest. But let's hear him out.
And all this shit, whatever, that all these cuts and whatever he's doing over there. Now they're telling me I have to go work. Now I have to go do all this. Well, I literally got 5 kids. Okay. I'm trying to sit here and spend time with them. I'm not trying to go work, 50, 60 hours a week so I can pay bills.
Bro, you sound like the most beta guy alive. That was the most beta thing I've ever heard. I'm not trying to work. I'm not trying to go out there and pay, have to work. I just want to sit home and take care of my kids. Dog, you sound like a female. And if anybody, and any of you libs that are guys in here, agree with this, man, I just want to let y'all know, bro. I just got to let y'all know, bro. Y'all are some very weak-minded people, very weak guys, very beta. To sit here and say, well, I don't want to work. I just want to stay at home and take care of my kids. Like, bruh, what? Like, dog, I want to take care of kids too, but I want to go out there and work and make sure they're provided for, not have to sit there and depend on the government for handouts.
With them. I'm not trying to go work 50, 60 hours a week so I can pay bills.
Wow.
I just really don't understand. I voted for him this last election because I thought what he had good was going on, but now all of a sudden, all this policy stuff's coming out, and now he's making all these cuts, and now he doesn't want to help the less fortunate people no more. I'm done with that guy.
Bruh, less fortunate. I mean, really, less fortunate.
I'm done with that guy. I'm not. If he gets voted in again, I'm leaving this country. Because I'm not dealing with this no more.
That man said, I got 5 kids. I just want to stay home, guys. That's all I want to do. It's so funny though. As I was going down the whatchamacallit, like it is funny how Twitter is always ready to grill. Always ready to grill. You took away my food stamps. Now I'm gonna starve. That's how y'all sound right now. But shout out to the comments. Shout out to the comments, man. It's always hilarious what the comments say. But hey, it is what it is. All right, guys, back to the show. Let's see. Let's go back to our guy, Harry Sisson. Yeah, I know if you're a working man, that video pissed you off. I know that video had you floored. Like, are you serious? Wait, is this a guy saying this? Now, if it was a female saying it, we would all sit there and be like, all right, well, it is what it is. That's okay. But a guy saying that is crazy.
Did you laugh? No, I don't think the president behaving in this way is
And
funny.
then guess what? That same guy took a picture in his driving lot, and in his driveway and driving lot. But he took a picture in his driveway, and he had a pretty nice truck in his driveway, and he had a decent sized house as well. I'm like, well, bro, you need food stamps? You sure?
I think we have to hold our leaders to a higher standard. This is the guy leading our country. He's not serious. And I don't actually think he cares about anybody but himself.
Well, Jack, Harry, have you taken a shower yet to get the president's mud and goo off of you?
I did take a shower. Have you crawled out of Donald Trump's colon yet? I know it's hard. It's dark in there.
No kings is the message of the anti-Trump protest movement, who reject what they see as monarchical rule by an uninhibited leader. Well, normally at this point, I'd mount a rousing defence of the various charming advantages of the British royal system. But the slew of ugly new revelations about Prince Andrew, many of them emanating from the US Congress, who are investigating the Epstein scandal, have made this a very bad week to be a monarchist. And while protesters in the US are fulminating about a leader with too much power, most Brits are currently scratching their heads about why the actual king has no power to strip Andrew of his princely title or to kick him out of his 30-bedroom royal mansion. The truth is that President Trump has far more power than the British monarch. All presidents do. It's what they choose to do with it that really counts. President Trump chose to respond to the weekend's protest by sharing an AI-generated video of himself flying a fighter jet loaded with effluent, which he deposited with surgical accuracy on a friend of his show, Harry's system. Trump's critics did not see the funny side.
I want you to imagine King Charles.
You know what? We are running down into the final hours, so let me go ahead and switch over here. I did want to play this video. It was very interesting. I found it on X. Let's get into another Charlie Kirk conspiracy, guys. Yep, it's time for another Charlie Kirk conspiracy. And let's do a little segment called, hey, bookmark videos on X. Let's get right to it, guys.
Every trace of that gag order on 3,000 people. Evidence locked away. Every trace of that day erased. The witnesses are terrified to speak, except one.
I know.
And today, he's done being silent. A Turning Point USA insider, a donor who knew Charlie Kirk personally, is stepping forward. He's violating the gag order because he says the cover-up isn't just criminal, it's historic. He calls it the biggest inside job since 9/11, and he's ready to name names. According to him, the rot started from within.
And shout out
Traitors
Toe.
inside.
Shout out Toe. She said, love that Trump isn't so serious. It's refreshing. Yeah, I know, right? He's not. I mean, hey, it is funny to see that this man utilizes AI. You know what? If you really think Trump is over there making those AI images, like, come on now. He has a whole staff for this. He literally has some guy that's gooey AI that makes these funny videos. They show him to Trump, and Trump's like, yeah, go ahead. Drop that on my social. Go ahead, do it. So trust me, you think Trump is making these AI memes? Come on, guys. The man's almost 80. This man don't know how to really work AI that well. The best this man can do with AI is ask ChatGPT a question.
By Charlie's own circle, people he trusted conspired to end his life. And the reason why is more terrifying than anyone imagined. Stay with us, because once you hear what he has to say, you'll understand why they are disappearing people to keep.
And guys, you know what's so crazy? Everybody says, oh, he's supposed to be so presidential. Oh, he's supposed to be this, that, and the third. I mean, guys, give Abraham Lincoln a phone and you'd be surprised. I mean, bro, if we'd have had Twitter and cell phones back then in Abraham Lincoln's time, man, you look, we'd have been seeing beef between presidents for like hundreds of years at a certain point. Well, I would say for decades. Why? Because even presidents wrote letters of confrontation towards each other. Can you imagine if we had Twitters back then with the founding fathers? We'd have literally seen the whole beef between the founding fathers lay out. But who was it? I think it was John Adams and the other guy. God damn it. Was it Thomas Jefferson? Well, there was two best friends that was founding fathers. Somebody's gonna say it in the chat. Like, bro, and they was writing letters to each other violently. Can you imagine if they had Twitter? So I'm gonna be real with you, it just comes with the tech. It's almost like the argument that I had, oh, well, Trump got a crypto coin and all that. Well, it is new technology, and we haven't really made no guidelines around the president owning crypto coins. So he just took advantage of the fact that, well, this is new tech that nobody's been messing with. I mean, Obama, he took advantage of the fact that, all right, not much presidents are on social media. He got on social media and started laying out his, his written speeches and all that good stuff on there. He became one of the most popular presidents. I mean, one of the most popular people on social media during his presidency. So as technology evolves, it is hard to pretty much say its effect on, well, politics, to be honest with you. But then as well as if we went back to the past, we had the same thing. You'd be saying the same type of actions from our founding fathers. And I don't doubt that. If you think that any one of our founding fathers would have acted different with a phone in their hand, you're tripping.
This story buried. Before we dive in, did you know that Israel has quietly bought up most of the world's most popular VPNs? And they've recruited spooks to run these companies. If you're a customer, you need to cancel your subscription right now. The only VPN I trust that protects my privacy from the deep state is VP.net. They're built to block the deep state from court judge Tony Graff /TPV to find out more. So more than 3,000 people connected to the assassination. That includes every staff member at TPUSA, faculty and students from Utah Valley University, and even bystanders who were present that day. Let that sink in. 3,000 gag orders. Covering up a false flag on this scale doesn't just take coordination, it takes control. Control over the people, control over the evidence, control over the narrative. But here's the problem for those pulling the strings. The truth always leaks. And this week it did, big time. New, previously unseen footage from the Charlie Kirk assassination has surfaced. In it, an urgent voice cuts through the chaos, just seconds before the fatal shot. Clearly commanding, stay down. Who was that voice talking to? A member of the security detail? A spotter relaying orders? Or something darker? A handler directing the hit squad?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Now, guys, what he's trying to say, and I want you guys to look at something. What this man's theory is that this guy back here with the camera, right? The guy back here with the camera pretty much is the one that shot Charlie Kirk. And wow, he's about to lay out everything he thinks. Because I've also heard that what we've seen wasn't an entrance room, but it was an exit wound. And it might have been possible that Charlie Kirk got shot from the back. Now, I'm not really too sure about it, but it's a pretty fun theory. I don't know. I'm not all the way there with it. Guy with the camera back there, he did. They're saying he did.
This isn't background noise, this is deliberate, it's coordinated, and it's damning. We now have faces in frame. The next step is to put names to them. So the question becomes, what are they so desperate to hide? Why did they rush in and rip off his lapel mic before he even hit the floor? Why did they seize the memory cards from every camera in sight, scrubbing the evidence before a single frame could surface? From the very start, the official story didn't add up. They said it was a 30-06 rifle. When that was called out as impossible, they said Charlie was literally superhuman, with a jawbone so strong it literally stopped a bullet in its tracks. But when you look closely, really look, the so-called entrance wound looks a lot more like an exit wound.
Hey, why are there combustion fumes like from a bullet coming out of that camera's telephoto lens? Because when I enlarged it in my Adobe Premiere Pro video and editing, you can see the combustion fumes from the bullet coming out of it. That's not a real camera. That's a housing for a camera with a firing mechanism inside. It's similar to the one I found online, which is a CIA Stinger 22 Magnum pin gun inside a camera. And that telephoto lens has a suppressor, silencer. And it's literally the smoking gun. Where do you think Steven Spielberg got the idea from when the Israeli used a single barrel bicycle pump to take out a lady they thought was a terrorist who bombed the Olympic team? They denied it and said their crew made it up. I don't believe that. They are into espionage, and they do that kind of thing, just like the United States. Google it. Now let me run the clip and show you who the shooter is. I believe he had a black cap.
Shout out to, she said, listen to the Ballad of Charlie Kirk by Cody McGraw. All right, sure, I'll look that one up.
And a brown shirt, but with a collar. 17 seconds earlier, he was using the viewfinder, faking it to take pictures.
But no smoke though. See, that's where my that's where the theory kind of falls off. Because look, it has been there is a theory that Charlie Kirk was shot from the back, and that's why he was shot up here. And they're saying that the exit wound came out there. Like there is that, but I don't know. No smoke, no nothing.
Earlier, he was using the viewfinder, faking it to take pictures. The bullet's traveling faster than sound. That's why you see the flash before you hear the sound. There he is. He looks like he has scruffles. I believe there's a black hat. He's also wearing a watch in his left hand. And there he is in front of Charlie. This shooter who's going to be behind Charlie with the camera gun is scouting the area to see Charlie's mannerism and what angle to shoot the bullet. Because if he misses, he's going to hit one of the audience people, and that's going to mess up the mission. And the one shooter theory.
Why did the judge place 3,000 people under a gag order? And here's something most people don't know. Judge Tony Graff wasn't even supposed to be on the case. He's a replacement. The original judge was quietly reassigned after weeks of being tracked and monitored by Israeli operatives in the months leading up to the assassination. Just another coincidence? Something is very, very wrong here.
Hold on.
And after the break, a Turning Point USA insider...
I'm sorry, I gotta interrupt just for this. Yo, Viking, you don't know what you're talking about, bro. What? You're pretty much trying to say, oh yeah, they can reduce their prices and it's still good quality. Bro, hell of countries have called out China for watering down their steel with nickel. Like, bro, a lot of people call out China for watered down products. Actually, remember, China was also the one selling us the lead toys. So what are you talking about, bro? Like, just because we have the upper hand in the trade deal, well, not by bad, but in the trade war to where they can cut prices on their cheaply made goods, doesn't mean that their goods are still the best. Like, dog, you sound crazy even implying that. I mean, anyone who says that Chinese goods are well made, wild. You sound wild, bro. But yeah, and if their steel or products is so good, then people just can't live without the quality, then why is even the EU placing 25% tariffs on them on their steel and aluminum? Even the UK has put tariffs on their steel and aluminum and other of their products, and of course the US. So if there's so great, why is everybody rejecting their products? All right.
breaks his silence, defying the gag order to reveal what really happened inside Charlie's inner circle and how the people closest to him may have sold him out for their own gain. The global elite are raking in crypto billions, rigging markets to this channel outsmart the hedge fund managers so that everyday Americans have one crypto platform. Americans like you, this platform. It has created.
Make sure.
So please visit tpvcrypto.com, links below to find out more. For a limited time,
all right,
in trial, a pattern is emerging, and it stinks of a cover-up. We told you last week that key players in the Charlie Kirk false flag, including emergency surgeons Josh Hammer and Tyler Robinson, were hit with Google searches from Israel months before the shooting. Now we can prove that both Judge Tony Graff, now on the case, and his predecessor Robert Lunin were also hit with Google searches from Israeli IPs months before the shooting. Lunin on May the 15th and Graff on July the 26th. For context, there wasn't a single Utah-based search on either until after Kirk's death. Coincidence? Or foreign intel scouting the bench? The coincidences don't end there. Lunin suddenly retired on August the 1st. Graff stepped in on August the 4th. The same day the Salt Lake FBI chief Mehtab Syed gets pulled. That's not random, that's choreography. And here's the real kicker. Judge Graff issued a massive gag order. His own motion, no push from prosecution or defense. It silences everyone. Witnesses, lawyers, clerks, even unrelated attorneys in their firms. No precedent, no paper trail, just silence.
Fourth Judicial District Court, Utah County, State of Utah, State versus Tyler Robinson. This is the protection order regarding pretrial and trial publicity. So we have the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, is charged with 1 count of aggravated murder and other felonies. These are like the predicate findings that are going into the order. The case has generated and is likely to continue to generate significant pretrial and trial publicity. That publicity can compromise defendant Tyler James Robinson's right to due process of law, as well as both parties' rights to a fair and impartial jury trial. Pretrial publicity is of particular concern because it can taint the prospective jury pool. To protect the parties' fundamental rights, the court, on its own motion, issues the following. Okay, so first off, this is the factual basis. This is the factual basis to justify gagging people in the case, right? A lot of publicity. People are interested in the case. It might. Maybe it would compromise the fairness of the trial or taint the jury pool. Maybe it would. So independently, without anybody asking, the court has decided it's going to issue the following protection order.
According to a TP USA donor who knew Charlie Kirk personally,
Gag
he's
orders.
decided to violate the gag order because, in his words, there's too much at stake to stay silent. Charlie Kirk was silenced. Now the system is trying to silence anybody connected to him. But truth doesn't vanish just because they outlaw it. And as this whistleblower told us, if their violence terrorizes us into compliance and silence, they win.
Look, I shouldn't even be talking to you right now. Judge Graff slapped me with a gag order, same as everyone else who knows too much. Thing is, I wasn't even there that day. I didn't see the shooting, but because I was close to Charlie, because I was a donor, they decided I might know too much. So now I'm legally not allowed to say a word. But you know what?
Wow.
Screw it. I'm gonna say what I can, because this is too important to bury. People deserve to know. Remember after 9/11, how we said, never forget? Well, 24 years later, we forgot. And here we are again. Same playbook. The government using blood and terror to steer public opinion. What they call kinetic politics. There are folks, eyewitnesses, who saw it happen up close. They'll tell you, straight up, the shot didn't come from the roof. There's no way in hell it was a 30-06. But they can't talk. They've been threatened. Some with
And you know, the main well, I would say this. Everybody is coming to an agreement. Almost everybody is coming into an agreement that 9 times out of 10 it wasn't a 30-06 because it would have low-key took that man's head off. I mean, God forbid. But yeah, it would have low-key took that man's head off. So unless, like I said, I remember my man Castro said it, or Tove said it also, well, if it's a really old bullet and the bullet was old, then yeah, maybe. But I mean, you know, that requires way too many things to go wrong for this shooting to make sense.
prison, some with worse. And the footage? It's vanishing as we speak. Phones seized, posts deleted, entire accounts wiped overnight. It's coordinated. That whole TikTok takeover thing everyone joked about? Not a coincidence. It's how they control what the younger crowd sees. They're feeding them a clean, filtered version of the truth. Straight up propaganda. In a generation, they'll all be brainwashed. A few weeks before he was killed, Charlie told me, he said, they told me I wouldn't make it to Christmas if I didn't back off. He was digging into some dark stuff. Israel, elite pedophilia networks, the funding lines nobody's supposed to touch. There was a so-called intervention in the Hamptons. Bill Ackman was there. He basically told him, take the money, fall in line, or you're done. You know what's crazy? After that Hamptons meeting, Charlie told me he started finding weird stuff with his devices. His phone would heat up for no reason, battery draining in minutes, random feedback on calls. He joked about it at first, said, guess I made new friends in Tel Aviv. But then, he got quiet. Told me he found a second SIM card in one of his backup phones. Something he swore he never put there. That's when it hit him. The whole trip had been a setup. Every word, every text, every whisper, bugged. He said, they don't need to threaten you if they already own your silence. Now he's gone. They're scrubbing everything, deleting files, wiping drives, bleach bitting the whole damn crime scene. And if they can erase him, someone that high profile, that connected, what do you think they can do to the rest of us? This isn't just a cover-up. It's the countdown to something much bigger.
Israel is not only controlling the feds, seizing control of the algorithms, blackmailing Congress, and paying US influencers to AstroTurf, they're also buying up the world's most popular VPNs. The tools people trust to protect themselves and their families online. This is massive. And the chilling part? Almost nobody realizes that VPNs aren't protecting you anymore. They've become a global dragnet for surveillance and blackmail.
With the click of a button, you can bring down nations to their knees very rapidly, if you so desire, and if you're willing to take the risks. Because every system can be hacked. Our airplanes, our hospitals, our cars, our banks. Actually, the most important word here is our data banks. They can be hacked.
When Netanyahu talks about data banks, he meant VPNs, the world's digital vaults, the places where we were told our personal information was safe. But safety was an illusion. Israel didn't need guns or tanks to seize control. They used boardrooms, buyouts, and backdoors. Here's where it gets dark. 3 of the 6 most popular VPNs on Earth, ExpressVPN, CyberGhost, and Private Internet Access, are all owned by one company, Cape Technologies. And Cape's roots? They lead straight back to Crossrider, the malware empire built by Israeli intelligence veterans. Now, the same people who once filled your devices with malware are charging you for privacy. And Cape's leadership? Stacked with Israeli military intelligence veterans. The same people who built some of the most advanced surveillance tools on the planet. Do your own research. We're talking about their CEOs, developers, and financiers, all ex-Mossad. The founder, Teddy Sagi, brags about placing ex-agents into his companies. We're talking about Unit 8200, Israel's equivalent of the NSA, only bigger, bolder, and far less restrained. He also hires from the Dovdadin unit, Israel's elite undercover death squad. Commandos trained to infiltrate, disguise themselves, wage war through deception, and carry out assassinations. These are the people guarding your secrets, the same ones who built the tools to steal them. It's not irony, it's humiliation, and we're the punchline. If you're still using a traditional VPN, cancel it right now. This isn't a drill, it's urgent. You're under attack. The question isn't are you being watched, it's how soon until your data is used against you. This isn't just about...
Now, that's quite the wild theory right there. You know, saying that the guy who was chilling in the back with the camera did it. Huh. Well. But all right, guys, I got to go ahead and close it down for the morning. Y'all make sure I have a good morning, guys, and I'll be back with you later on tonight, hopefully, depending how things work out today. But I'll let you guys know. Appreciate the support, guys. Make sure y'all go ahead and double tap that screen and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you aren't already and become a member if you guys want to go ahead and get in on the members only Discord. Appreciate the support, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and close it out with the jazz as usual. Make sure y'all double tap that screen. Y'all go out there and be safe and have a good morning, guys. This is Set with Set Media. Peace. Hold on. Wait. Even though we've been disagreeing, I ain't gonna do you like that. Shout out Mr. Vikings. Mr. Viking fan. As a business owner myself, when I order products from China, I pay the extra fee, then pass that to the customer. That equals less orders from China. Now, what do you order from China? Oh, wait, I know, right? I know. I had to address the comment. Guys, I'm petty like that, okay? Because I have to address this. What'd you order from China? Because let me go ahead and explain this to you, my man. And here's the thing. So if you don't want to pass, why would you pass that down to consumer when you can just, one, you can buy from another country, right? And if you can't get this part from another, and like I said, this is a part that you cannot get nowhere else. Because like I said, I would like you to be Pacific. I think you're leaving out the Pacifics because you kind of know that, there's other suppliers you can go to in other countries where you won't be charged a tariff. Also, in the tariff, usually when you pay the tariffs on those products, you can get that Chinese guy. If you're an importer and you buy in bulk, you can usually get them to drop their price by at least 30%, so you don't really take the tariff. I mean, you're literally choosing bad negotiating skills in business if you can't negotiate on wholesale pricing. And I mean, dog, if you're telling me that China's your only way, if China's your only way to get this product, then so be it. So be it. That's just the business that you're in. But I'm pretty sure whatever you're getting can be outsourced from other places. Like you could probably go to Indonesia, Mexico, Thailand, Vietnam, and get that same product shipped right to you for less without the tariff. So I don't know. Like I said, you would have to give me the Pacifics. Because I always did say it's industry Pacific. So my argument still stands what I always say, industry Pacific. So depending on how much competition there is for that product that you need as a business owner, that will depend if you have to pass on the tariff. So my argument stands that if you're in a highly competitive market and what you're saying sounds like, well, the product that I got is in a unsaturated market, there's barely any competition, then yes, my argument stands that most likely the cost will be passed down to you because you don't have any other places you can go. So where you can look at the Chinese supplier and say, yo, you're either going to drop this 30% or I'm going to go buy cheaper in Indonesia or another country. So like I said, it's industry Pacific. And I mean, you're basically going with my argument if you're telling me that's the only place you can get it from, even though I doubt it. But you never know. You never know. But shout out Mr. Viking. Sorry, guys. I had to address that super chat real quick. But all right. Though. Anything else? About 5 seconds. No, that's exactly how business works. I mean, dog, I had a dad that was buying African clothes out of Africa, and he would literally sometimes get them from other countries and get the thing done because it was cheaper. It's like he would literally negotiate with other clothes supplier on the same fabric. If one was offering it cheaper and they would often bid war between them, then he would get it from that guy who was offering the cheaper price. I mean, that's how business works when you're dealing with multiple suppliers. But the way my man Viking is talking is if there's only one supplier for his product, which I highly doubt. But if that's so, then it is what it is. So, hey. But all right. I mean, dog, I don't think you know tariffs or economics, because if you did, then what I said completely lines up with how macroeconomics works. But apparently you don't know. It's like I said, there's always the people that don't know a damn thing that want to talk about tariffs and economics. And I mean, I guess like I pay tariffs from ordering from China literally would say tariffs. So you don't, bro, when you make this order from China, right, do you do it as a wholesale? So you're bringing things in on a freight? Like you're talking to the supplier in China's, or you're just buying off a website? Because like, dog, that doesn't make you an importer. Like we're talking about like guys like, honestly, like Walmart, who buys in big bulk from China, like big ass containers filled of products. Not you buying something online from China, bro. What are you like? What? That's why I said we're talking about macroeconomics, not bro. Not microeconomics. If you're a small business, you're talking about the purchase that you need to make your business go, and you're doing this online, and you're not getting it off the boat, my man. We're talking about macroeconomics. We're not talking about your personal economics. We're talking about the macro effect of tariffs on the world stage. You are not an importer, my friend. Like Walmart, car dealerships. I mean, Costco's, these are guys that get big containers coming from China that can negotiate cutting on the tariffs. Bro, you're buying off a website. So, I don't know, bro. I think you're kind of confusing the two. You're confusing your microeconomics, which is your personal economics, with macroeconomics, which basically involves economics of the world, and which tariffs mainly pertain to. But hey, I don't know nothing, guys. I'm just an ex-accounting major who took 2 semesters of econ, so but I don't know nothing. All right, no, I'm leaving for real this time. All right, guys, I actually do gotta head out, but I just had to hop on that one. But all right, though, back to the jazz. All right, we out, guys. Appreciate the support.